Chapter 75. Then do you mean that if you successfully cultivate it, then others won't be able to see your devil chi? As if a trace of light had appeared in the dark sky, Yenran said excitedly. I'm not too sure about this. Anyway, when I'm emotional, it will still show. There are many such books in the demon realm, but the ones I brought are limited. If I can find some better books, it will definitely be of great help to my devil chi. Yenran suddenly had an idea. She remembered that her grandfather once told her that the hibiscus score was obtained from the demon realm. Doesn't that mean that if Xiao Xiao cultivates the hibiscus score, then won't his devil chi be invisible? Once this idea grew grass in her heart, Yenran couldn't wait to test it out. Xiao Xiao, you continue to cultivate. If others can't see your devil chi, then can you tell others that you have removed the devil chi? Yenran suddenly raised her head, her eyes shining with a dazzling light, and her voice trembled a little. Yenran, you're so smart. This is a good method. Xiao Xiao tapped Yenran's little nose. However, this matter is still very dangerous. You must find a way to protect yourself. Yenran couldn't wait to go home and study the hibiscus score. Since it was a strange book, then it must have its special points. After Yenran left, Xiao Xiao locked himself in the room full of treasures on the second floor. Although he said it calmly just now, it was just to not let Yenran have a greater psychological burden, but he himself knew that this matter was not a trivial matter. Uncle Wu said that if you don't want others to control you, you have to become stronger yourself. He had some success in his previous cultivation, and the spirit concealment technique still had some effect, but it was just to scare people. When he really encountered something, he still couldn't control it. He applied for leave from school and went straight to the back of the mountain for half a month. The back of the mountain was full of spiritual energy, so he should be able to achieve twice the result with half the effort. On the mountainside of the back mountain, under the layers of dense forest, under the lush shade of the trees, a handsome young man was sitting cross-legged on a rock. His 2 hands were placed on his knees, forming a seal of wisdom. His youthful face also showed a kind of mature and profound appearance. It was Xiao Xiao. Originally, he had been sitting on a rock at the top of the mountain, wanting to absorb the essence of the sun and moon. However, he quickly discovered that the essence was too much for him to bear, so he had no choice but to move here. Unexpectedly, this place had the advantage of being hidden and abundant. The surrounding small animals were running around Xiao Xiao. At this time, Xiao Xiao had already entered a meditative state. Everything around him seemed to be in the void. With the nourishment of spiritual energy, the small bead inside Xiao Xiao's body that was wrapped in a lotus flower began to move. The spirit concealment technique was a kind of mist in the body. Like a brush, Xiao Xiao's internal organs and various meridians were painted with different colors. When the cultivation reached a certain point, the demonic energy that emerged from the top of the head would also be decorated with the color of the surrounding environment. It was like a chameleon that changed with the surrounding color. In fact, it was not to remove the demonic energy, but to assimilate the demonic energy, treating the symptoms but not the root cause. However, this skill was currently Xiao Xiao's only choice. Being able to conceal 1 or 2 things had already increased his safety factor by 80%. Before, Xiao Xiao's progress was only less than half, but he could feel that the meridians of his upper body seemed to have changed color. However, when it reached his dantian, it was stuck. The small golden bead was like a naughty child, unwilling to be bound by the mist. The mist wanted to wrap around him, but he would always kick it away. In this way, they went back and forth for dozens of rounds. Every time, it would end with the victory of the small bead. The top of Xiao Xiao's head gradually emerged with various colors of mist, swirling around the top of his head and around his body. The surrounding colors seemed to be assimilated. All kinds of colors were rotated by a brush and mixed in the palette of Xiao Xiao's body, changing color. Xiao Xiao himself was unaware. He was still motionless like an old monk in meditation. He was more like an immortal who was about to become an immortal. After Yenran returned home, she took out the hibiscus book. Previously, she had practiced 1 or 2 chapters under her grandfather's instructions. However, it was very difficult to get started with this book, and there were many terms that she did not understand. Some special symbols were drawn on the front page of the book. Yenran originally thought that they were oracle bone inscriptions, but after taking a closer look, they did not look like it at all. She did not know which language they were from. She had searched through all the human languages in the world, but could not find anything similar. Therefore, her practice was put on hold. She originally wanted to ask her grandfather again, but before she could do so, Qiao Zhao's incident happened. Yenran's current practice had already reached the peak of Zixuan. She had been waiting for an opportunity to seek her own breakthrough and enter the higher void realm. As far as she knew, there were not many higher voids in the whole world. There were only a few people in an aristocratic family. If an aristocratic family wanted to gain a foothold in the world, the level they could reach was very important. The higher the level of the aristocratic family, the more people there were, and the more power they had in the whole world of cultivation. This was also the reason why Elder Yen valued Yenran very much. Yenran looked at the hibiscus score. The words in it were curvy and crawling around like earthworms. She could not help but have a headache. She decided not to think about it. She directly took it to Qiao Zhao to see if he, a person from the devil world, could understand this kind of earthworm writing. First, she wanted to see if it could help Qiao Zhao's devil qi. Second, she wanted to see if it could help her breakthrough. She wanted to see if she could kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Yenran directly put the book in her arms and went to the back of the mountain. She knew that Qiao Zhao had been in the back of the mountain recently. Elder Yen had told her that this book must be kept well. She also knew that if she took out the book to show others, she would be violating her grandfather's order. However, Yenran did not care so much now. She had no other way to save Qiao Zhao. This was the only way she could think of. When Yenran arrived, Qiao Zhao was still meditating. He had been sitting here for 7 days and 7 nights. The small tadpoles in his mind and the small beads in his dantian were constantly running with each other, fighting with the surrounding environment. When Yenran arrived, it was the most tense moment. Yenran saw that Qiao Zhao's head was oozing fine sweat. His clothes were all wet and stuck to his body, revealing his strong and slender body. Yenran knew that it was a critical moment for him. It seemed that he was about to break through. She did not know if the breakthrough of the devil world was the same as that of the human world. Qiao Zhao's face was getting paler and paler. His whole body seemed to be suffering great pain. The skin that was exposed to the outside gradually became transparent. Layer by layer, the flesh color disappeared from the skin and was slowly replaced by a white color. After a while, it turned black. Black, white, and flesh color were like 3 people in a tug of war. Whoever had more strength would have more color on their exposed skin. Qiao Zhao's face also changed a lot. Perhaps it was because of the spirit concealment technique. The color of his body changed with the surrounding environment. Time passed bit by bit, and Qiao Zhao's body slowly turned green. There were shades of green, and it was lush and verdant. At this time, Qiao Zhao's face gradually became distorted. The surrounding air seemed to be squeezed by the various colors he released. The surrounding small animals were scared and ran in all directions. The surrounding air was no longer friendly, forming a large whirlpool, revolving around Qiao Zhao's entire body and the top of her head. Yenran saw that things were not good and quickly set up a boundary around them to prevent Qiao Zhao from becoming a disaster when he exploded. Qiao Zhao had really reached the limit of his tolerance. The various colors on his body squeezed him very hard. He was like a person who was forced to eat a lot of food, and at this time he was still being forced to eat chili. What kind of experience was this? He just wanted to vomit. He just wanted to release from his whole body. The fluctuation of spiritual power around him was so strong that it had spread outside in waves. Yenran's grandfather, Elder Yen, suddenly felt a big fluctuation of spiritual power around him. His eyes widened. Was a master about to break through? Elder Yen was very sensitive to such things. He directly walked out of the room and looked in the direction of the back mountain. He couldn't see anything for now. Only spiritual power was being pushed over. Yenran found that it was a mistake for her to be inside the node. She was also constantly squeezed inside, which was very uncomfortable. However, The boundary had blocked her way out. She could only keep resisting the danger brought by Qiao Zhao's breakthrough. Qiao Zhao himself didn't know that Yan Ran was next to him. He released his devil energy without restraint. Only by releasing the devil energy from his body could he feel comfortable. Yan Ran had been resisting with all her strength, but it still didn't work. Qiao Zhao's devil energy was too strong. It had pushed her to the edge of the boundary, and her whole body was about to stick to the boundary. Her hands were still in front of her chest, but at this time, she had no choice but to put her hands and feet on the boundary. The rest of the pressure pressed into every pore of her body. There was no way to resist at all. She felt that her body was about to be squashed. Qiao Zhao was also in extreme pain at this time. He shouted loudly, "Ah!" His whole body felt like it was pierced by a sharp sword. At that moment, an embroidery needle was shot into every pore of his body. After the needles passed through his pores, they all shot into the woods behind him. Qiao Zhao completely fainted. At this moment, Yanran's own breakthrough was triggered by Qiao Zhao's last crazy outburst. She thought to herself, "Oh no, why am I going to break through at this time?" At this time, she had already used all the strength in her body to resist Qiao Zhao's devil energy. If she didn't succeed this time, Qiao Zhao still had more power waiting behind. Then Yan Ran wouldn't be able to resist anymore. The two forces collided with each other and then hit the boundary. Then, they bounced back and rushed toward Yan Ran. Yan Ran couldn't resist anymore and spat out a mouthful of blood. Then she also fainted. What Yan Ran didn't see was that the last mouthful of blood burst out the potential in her body. The purple gas above her head soared into the sky. After flying to the sky, it turned white and wrapped her whole body again. She had broken through. Chapter 76. Yanran's breakthrough caused a great sensation. Everyone, including Elder Yan, rushed to the back of the mountain. Elder Yan knew that it was caused by Zixuan's breakthrough to the first realm of the virtual realm. A small mushroom cloud rose in the sky, as if a hole had been opened. A golden light shone down from the sky and shone on a certain area of the back of the mountain. Elder Yan had a guess. He knew that there were only a few Zixuan in the south, and the most likely one was Yanran. Did Yanran have a breakthrough? Elder Yan was ecstatic. If that was the case, the South's status in the whole cultivation world would rise to another level. Basically, all the other families would have to listen to him. He had to rush to the back of the mountain to verify the truth of this matter. If it was not Yan Ran, but someone else, he would see if it was possible to recruit that person. He could not let other cultivators gain the upper hand by making the first move. The vision in the sky flashed away. Apart from Elder Yan, several other figures also rushed to the back of the mountain. Elder Yan was not only gambling with his own guess, but also racing against time with other cultivators to see who could enter the first realm of the virtual realm. In the seal, Yanran was knocked out by Qiao Zhao's power. Before she passed out, she instinctively broke through her limit and successfully reached the first realm of the virtual realm. Qiao Zhao also broke through, but his devil chi breakthrough was not exactly the same as Yanran's. Qiao Zhao also passed out after challenging his limit, but he could clearly feel that the little bead in his dantian had finally grown bigger. Soon, he woke up and looked around in a daze. Inside the enchantment, all the flowers and trees had been turned into powder, and a girl's body was lying on the ground. Her clothes were tattered, and two white and tender long legs were clearly exposed in front of Qiao Zhao. Why did she look so familiar? The girl's body proportions were extremely good. She had slender jade-like legs and smooth calves. At this time, one of her shoes had already fallen out. Her round ankle was delicate and smooth, simply like ice and jade bones. Looking up, Qiao Zhao found that Yanran was lying unconscious on the edge of the seal. He rushed up and checked Yanran's breath. Then he breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, she was fine. He forcefully pinched her philtrum. Yanran's brows furrowed slightly, and she slowly woke up. She moved slightly, and her entire body felt as if it was falling apart. It was a heart-wrenching pain. But now she felt that all the meridians in her body had been opened, and her chi was flowing smoothly. It seemed that she had finally entered the first realm of the virtual realm. She looked at Xiao Xiao, who was covered in dust, and was also in a mess. "How are you? Are you okay?" Xiao Xiao smiled at her. "I'm fine." Then he took off his coat. Although it was torn a few times, it could still be wrapped around Yanran. At this time, Yanran noticed her sorry state. Her face was slightly red. She wrapped Xiao Zhao's coat tightly and said to him, "Let's go." Xiao Zhao's ears suddenly twitched. "It seems that we can't leave. Someone is coming." "Oh no, it seems to be Grandpa." "Xiao Xiao, quickly hide." Yanran suddenly became anxious. She quickly returned the coat to Xiao Xiao and told him to hide behind a large rock. Xiao Xiao looked at Yanran's exposed white thighs and touched his nose. "Don't make a sound. Put away your demonic qi. Grandpa is in the empty saint realm. He will know if there is any movement around us." Xiao Xiao knew that Yanran's grandfather was powerful. He used the spirit concealment technique to hide all of his demonic qi, becoming one with the surroundings. At the same time, he added another layer of demonic qi around himself, blending into the night. Sure enough, a clear voice soon floated over. Yanran hurriedly stood up and called out to her grandpa. Elder Yan was overjoyed. "Yanran, it really is you. Did you break through?" "Yes, Grandpa. I was cultivating here when I suddenly felt signs of a breakthrough. Then I gritted my teeth and rushed over." Yanran clearly replied. "Oh, you can break through without outside help. That's too amazing. This is the first time I've heard of this. Ha ha ha, good. No matter what method you used, you are the first person in our southern family to enter the empty saint realm." Yanran felt a little guilty. She hurriedly said to her grandfather, "Grandpa, I just finished the breakthrough. I'm a little embarrassed. Let's go back." Grandpa saw that Yanran was indeed disheveled. He took off his jacket and put it on Yanran. "Let's go." At this time, a few people rushed over. "Wait a minute." When they got closer, they saw that there was a faint white demonic qi coming out of Yanran's head. She really was in the empty saint realm. They didn't have time to greet Yanran's grandfather. They asked directly, "Little girl, were you the one who just broke through?" "Yes, Grandpa. I just broke through." The elders looked at her with admiration and envy. "Elder Yen, you are so lucky. Your southern family actually has a empty saint realm cultivator." "Ha ha ha, Elder Yi, I'm sorry. This is not only a member of our southern family, but also my granddaughter. It's rare to have a empty saint realm cultivator after so many years. How about you guys? Is there anyone who has already successfully cultivated it? You have to hurry up. My granddaughter is tired. We'll be leaving first." Yanran's grandfather was very proud. He could show off in front of the elders of the Eastern District. This was a rare happy event. He was about to leave when he turned back and asked casually, "Elder Yi, the South is my territory. May I ask why you are here?" Elder Yi answered vaguely, "I'm just passing by." Yanran's grandfather laughed out loud. "I'm sorry, it's really rare for you to see such a magnificent scene while passing by." Elder Yi of the Eastern District gritted his teeth. "This old thing will compete with me. He will never admit defeat." However, this Yanran was really powerful. She had already entered the empty saint realm at such a young age. When would the Dongfeng family have such a person? After Yanran and Elder Yan left, Elder Yi and a few others stayed in the same place. They were still looking around for other traces. "Elder Yi, why aren't you leaving?" someone asked. "This matter is a bit strange. It's extremely difficult for a master like Zixuan to break through to the empty saint realm. It's impossible to break through on her own. There must be external help. However, on our way here, other than the slight phenomenon caused by the breakthrough, there were no other strange phenomena. This is very abnormal. What we need to do now is to find some clues." Xiao Xiao had been listening to their conversation. He was anxious. Why haven't these people left? If they continue to look, they will find me. These people split up and searched. One of them came in the direction of Qiao Xiao. Qiao Xiao was so nervous that his palms were sweating. He was evaluating his chances of winning if he fought them head-on. However, when Qiao Xiao heard Yanron's grandfather call this person Elder Yi, he should also be a Saint Emptiness Realm expert. Qiao Xiao might be able to deal with other people, but if she were to fight against Elder Yi, she probably wouldn't even know how she died. He saw that the person was getting closer and closer. Soon, he would reach the side of the big rock. Qiao Xiao had already thought about it. If he attacked, he could only resist and then take the opportunity to escape. Just as Qiao Xiao had gathered the devil chi on her finger and was about to point at the person, she suddenly heard another person call out, "There's a book here." It was this sentence that stopped Qiao Xiao's footsteps. Qiao Xiao was shocked. Why is there a book? It must be Yanron's. Since Yanran had it with her, he couldn't let those people take it away. He had to find a way to get it back. Qiao Xiao didn't think too much about it. He rushed out and picked up the book on the ground. He laughed and said, "So it was here. You made me look for it." Elder Yi and the others were shocked. Even with their cultivation, they didn't notice that there was someone nearby. "Who are you?" "I'm a traveler. I came here to explore. I dropped a book here, so I came back to look for it." Qiao Xiao stuffed the book into his clothes and turned to leave. "Stop. Why are you here in the middle of the night?" Elder Yi blocked his way. "I can't sleep in the middle of the night. What can you do about it?" Qiao Xiao said with a sloppy look. Elder Yi carefully observed Qiao Xiao. He saw that this person had an extraordinary appearance and a noble temperament. However, he couldn't see anything strange about him. Could it be such a coincidence? Why would an ordinary person appear here in the middle of the night? Did you see a girl just now? Girl? What girl? I have a few companions waiting for me in front. Are you talking about them? Elder Yi patted him on the shoulder and used a bit of spirit chi to test him. If he was a cultivator like them, he would definitely resist instinctively. However, the spirit chi that entered his shoulder was like a stone sinking into the sea. It didn't cause any waves. Qiao Xiao was expressionless. It didn't seem like he was affected at all. Qiao Xiao patted Elder Yi on the shoulder. However, Qiao Xiao didn't use any demonic chi. He just greeted him normally. He smiled at Elder Yi and said, "Elders need to take care of their health at night. Go back to sleep early. Unlike us youngsters, we like to explore at night. Bye-bye." After he finished speaking, he walked away in large strides in front of Elder Yi. Elder Yi and the others looked at Qiao Xiao's back as he walked away. They were even more confused. "Elder Yi, why did you let him go?" "He's not a cultivator. I've already tested him. It shouldn't have anything to do with him. But him appearing here at this time is very suspicious. Let's talk about this later. That girl breaking through to the higher void stage might be her own ability. The few great families were quite fierce in fighting for the right to speak in the world. This time, Elder Yi came to the south to investigate the situation of the southern families. He didn't expect to meet a higher void stage cultivator. This was a big blow to Elder Yi. "Looks like we have to take our time. Let's go first." After Qiao Xiao returned home, he pulled off the clothes on his shoulder and saw a red handprint on his shoulder. Just now, Elder Yi used a bit of spirit chi to penetrate his body. At that time, he seemed to be fine, but he had already suffered internal injuries. The old man of the higher void stage was indeed different. He could cripple a person with a single move. Qiao Xiao had experienced it today. He knew that if he showed a little bit of demonic chi today, his little life would be gone. Chapter 77. Qiao Xiao asked Wu Bo Lai to apply some medicine to him, and then he ate a few medicinal pills to heal his wounds. Uncle Wu's eyes were filled with tears as he said, "Young master, you have suffered in the human world. Young master, you must speed up your cultivation. Only by becoming stronger can you make these people unable to do anything to you." Uncle Wu cried as he mumbled. All right, Uncle Wu, don't cry. I know. I will speed up my cultivation. Don't worry about me. Chow Shao comforted Uncle Wu as he took out the book he picked up from the ground to read. Uncle Wu glanced at it and said, Hibiscus? Young master, where did you get this book? This is Yenron's. She dropped it on the ground, so I picked it up for her. Young master, this book is a strange one. It was written for the cultivators of the demon world. Chow Shao flipped it open and took a look. What the hell is this? I can't understand the words inside. Uncle Wu chuckled and said, Young master, do you remember that we had a dictionary-like book on the second floor? Chow Shao thought for a moment. There was indeed such a book. He had always thought that it was useless, so he threw it aside. That book was used to translate these kinds of words. It was a strange book passed down from the ancient times of the demon world. The words in it were never seen before, but at the same time, it was passed down as a dictionary. I brought the dictionary here, but because this book has long been missing, it has never been used. TSK, what a coincidence. Chow Shao was now a bookworm. Young master, if you cultivate according to this, you will definitely be able to defeat these people in the human world who want to harm you. Haha, I have searched high and low for it, only to find it by chance. Yenran is my lucky star. The next morning, Chow Shao was in a good mood. The sun was shining brightly outside the house. He carried his backpack and swayed his arms as he came to school. Ever since the previous incident subsided, Chow Zhao's popularity had risen again, and he had gained a group of die-hard fans on campus. Along the way, he added a few more people on WeChat before arriving at the classroom. Yenran came early today and sat in her seat. Chow Shao looked and saw that the little purple bun on Yenron's head had turned into a little white bun, but it was still sitting listlessly on Yenron's head. What's wrong, Beauty Yen? Is there anything I can do for you? Chow Shao leaned over Yenron's table and winked at her. Yenran lowered her voice and leaned closer to Chow Shao. Did you pick up anything last night? A delicate fragrance drifted into Chow Zhao's nose. Chow Shao enjoyed it and took a deep breath. He also lowered his voice and said to Yenran, You smell so good today. Yenran glared at him, but the little white bun on her head was sweet. She grinned. I'm talking business with you. Did you pick up anything? Chow Shao sat back in his seat and leaned back. Don't mention it. I almost lost my life yesterday. Zhong Deong leaned over. If anyone dares to kill our brother Chow, I'll fight them to the death. Chow Shao was immediately amused by him. I'll call you the next time we have a group fight. I'll be on call. What's going on? Yenran was a little anxious. Chow Shao leaned forward and lowered his voice. He said in Yenron's ear, Yesterday, after you left, that old man Yi found me. He stretched out his hand to test me. I pretended that I didn't resist and fooled him. Yenran was anxious. Were you hurt? Almost. My whole body felt like it was burned. Uncle Wu helped me heal for a long time before I recovered. Chow Shao pouted and flattened his mouth. After school, I'll help you unblock all the meridians in your body. Don't let any of his spiritual power remain in your body. When Chow Shao heard that Yenran was willing to take the initiative to heal him, his eyes lit up and he secretly smiled. He whispered in Yenron's ear, Come to my house directly after school. I'll ask Uncle Wu to cook for us. The warm air blew on Yenron's ear. She moved to the side and cleared her throat. Her eyes were a little distant. Well, how did you escape? He thought I was a normal person and let me go. However, I gained a lot. Chow Shao deliberately kept her in suspense. What did you gain? I picked up a book that you dropped. Yenron's eyes lit up. You really picked up that book? Of course. If there's anything, just leave it to me. You can rest assured. Was it because of that book that you were discovered by Old Man Yi? Well, you can say that. However, your brother Chow is both intelligent and courageous. I fought a battle of wits with Old Man Yi and successfully escaped. Yanran gave Xiao Xiao a thumbs up. Her eyes curved into crescents as she smiled. She could imagine how difficult it was to escape from a Saint Void Realm expert. Even she wasn't sure if she could do it. After receiving Yanran's praise, Xiao Xiao was as cocky as a little peacock. Yanran couldn't see the little black gas bun now, but she could imagine that the little black gas bun must have spread its feathers. Yanran was finally relieved. If she lost the hibiscus book that her grandfather gave her, she would have committed a great sin. After school, the two of them went to Xiao Zhao's house together. When Uncle Wu saw Yanran, he couldn't stop smiling. Xiao Xiao directly pulled her into his room on the second floor. After locking the door, he threw himself on the bed. "Come on, do you want to take off all your clothes?" Yanran didn't know whether to laugh or cry. She also wanted to play around. She said seriously, "Yes, take off all your clothes. Don't leave a single piece behind." Xiao Xiao was so scared that he immediately sat up. He stared at Yanran for a long time. "Then I'll take off my clothes. Will you close your eyes or open them? What's the difference? Open your eyes and be responsible for me. Close your eyes. Forget it." After saying that, he obediently began to take off his clothes. Yanran saw that he was serious and hurriedly held him down. "I'm just teasing you." Then, she seemed to think of something and the little purple gas bun on her head blushed. Xiao Xiao rolled his eyes and looked at Yanran's serious face and the purple gas bun on her head. He smiled contentedly. Yanran used all the spiritual energy in her body to heal Xiao Xiao. She was now a master of the virtual realm. Unlike before, when she needed to concentrate on every part of Xiao Zhao's body, she only needed to wrap up Xiao Zhao's body. The spiritual energy in his limbs and bones would naturally enter and heal his meridians. "Yanran, it's so comfortable. I really hope you can give me a massage every day." After being healed, Xiao Xiao was so comfortable that he almost fell asleep. "In your dreams. Consider it a reward for helping me pick up the book." "Yanran, you don't say, that book is really amazing. How did you know? Can you understand it?" Yanran was very strange. Even she couldn't understand Xiao Xiao, but he could. "Of course, have you forgotten? I'm from the Devil Realm." "Then tell me, what's so amazing about this book?" "This book is a strange book in the Devil Realm. If the people of the Devil Realm cultivate it, they can be comparable to the Devil King from tens of thousands of years ago." What kind of ability did the Devil King from tens of thousands of years ago have? The Devil King from tens of thousands of years ago was very powerful. At that time, the entire Devil Realm was conquered by him. He had the power to summon all things in the world. He could freeze a mountain into an ice peak in an instant. He could also drain a river in an instant. He could also turn the whole world into a hell. Yanran was shocked, but she didn't believe it. You can exaggerate a 3-point flower to 10 points. If that's the case, then it's really a devil book. After learning it, wouldn't it be a big deal? No, it's just that your ability has increased. As long as your nature is not bad and you don't always want to harm others, then there won't be any harm. Then there must be a person with a pure nature to practice this magic. Where did you get this book? Xiao Xiao was also very curious. How did something from the Devil Realm come to the human world? I don't know. My grandfather gave it to me. He said that this is an ancient strange book, passed down in our family. Then it seems that your family has some relationship with the Devil Realm since ancient times. Is that the reason why we are so close? Xiao Xiao suddenly leaned in front of Yanran. Nonsense, who's close to you? Yanran leaned back and pushed Xiao Zhao's face away. Yanran, do you want me to explain to you what's written in this book? You've already broken through yesterday, but I hope you can be more powerful. Why do you want me to be so powerful? You can only protect me if you're powerful. Xiao Xiao said matter-of-factly. At this time, he was lying on the bed, holding his chin with his hand, shaking his little head slightly. His 2 legs were turned up, cute and casual. Xiao Zhao's occasional words made Yanran's heart tighten. Is Xiao Xiao now so dependent on me? Then why don't you think about becoming stronger yourself? Yanran asked directly. Xiao Xiao rolled on the bed. Cultivating is so tiring, although I'm already quite powerful now. But this book is very difficult. It's not something a leisurely person like me can conquer. Only an elite like you can fully master it. Is it really that difficult? Yanran was a little doubtful. I'm not lying to you. I've already imprinted this book in my mind yesterday. I can understand every word, but I don't know what they mean when they're connected together. I still have to rely on someone with high comprehension like you to slowly comprehend it. Moreover, your ability is high. I believe that you'll definitely protect me, and no one will bully me anymore. Xiao Xiao said matter-of-factly. What nonsense are you talking about? No matter how powerful I am, I can't beat a Saint Void Realm Grandpa. Moreover, you forgot about that secret letter. They want to get rid of you. Don't you remember that I also broke through yesterday? I've already cultivated the spirit concealment technique to the 5th level. Normal people can't see my devil chi. Otherwise, how could I escape from Old Man Yi yesterday? Isn't it because he couldn't find any devil chi on me? So you're saying that I can report back to Grandpa? Yanran's eyes began to shine with starlight. Of course, you can find a chance to tell your grandpa that you've already dealt with that Xiao Xiao. Then he laid at home for 7 days before completely recovering and becoming a normal person. That's a good idea. I can give it a try. Although Yanran was worried, at least there was a way. The big stone in her heart made it impossible for her to sleep every day. All right. I've already told you about my matters. Don't worry too much. I'll think of a way myself. Right now, what we need to focus on is how to make our young Miss Yanran even more powerful. Only then can you sweep through the cultivation world and protect a peerless handsome man like me. Yanran was amused by him. The time she spent with Xiao Xiao always made her happy inadvertently. You're so talkative. Then Xiao Xiao began to translate the earthworms on the hibiscus chart word by word for Yanran. Sure enough, as Xiao Xiao said, even if each little earthworm translated the words, it wouldn't be easy for them to understand. However, Yanran was perceptive and motivated. She first memorized the little earthworms in her mind. The two of them had been seriously studying head to head, feet to feet, and a trace of warmth flowed in the room. Time passed, and the collision of ideas made the two of them want to continue even when the sky was dark. Young Miss Yanran, young master, it's time to eat. Uncle Wu's voice sounded from outside the door. Xiao Xiao pulled Yanran to the dining room and saw a long table full of dishes. Each plate was quite exquisite. There weren't many dishes, but they were all very tempting. One could smell the fragrance from the door from afar. Well, it seems that Uncle Wu has put in a lot of effort. Yanran, today is my celebration for you. Congratulations on entering the Great Void Realm. Xiao Xiao picked up a glass of red wine and looked at Yanran with charming eyes. Although we're underage, there's no banquet without wine. In order to celebrate your success, shall we have a drink? Xiao Zhao's face was particularly perfect under the light. Yanran looked at Xiao Zhao's handsome face and fiery eyes. She couldn't help but feel a little drunk. Okay, let's drink a little. Xiao Xiao was very happy. The two of them drank and sang, thinking about the future. Under the influence of alcohol, they gradually only had each other in their eyes. Chapter 78. As the days passed, there were only a few days left before the final mission given to Yanran by Elder Yanran. Yanran really wanted to cast a spell to stop time. During this period of time, she had been repeatedly testing with Xiao Xiao to see if his demonic aura would erupt. Yanran, don't be so heartless. Just treat me as a heinous person and torture me ruthlessly. Xiao Xiao said to Yanran with a cheeky smile. Are you sure this method will work? Yanran was very uncertain and somewhat reluctant to do it. Of course. Uncle Wu said that in the Devil Realm, it is very easy to trigger a person's demonic aura and make them do bad things. As long as you beat them up desperately and make them have the mentality of revenge, their demonic aura will naturally surge out crazily. Qiao Xiao explained. But looking at your face, I can't really hit it. Yanran still felt a little reluctant. What, now you feel sorry for me? Don't hit my face. I still need to rely on this face to curry favor in front of you. You can hit other parts of my body as you wish. Qiao Xiao began to talk nonsense again. Alright, then I'll try. If you really can't stand it, you can tell me. Yanran made up her mind to be ruthless. An expert of the virtualization realm did not even need to make a move. Just a pressure from her could make you kneel and beg for mercy. And after this period of practice, Qiao Xiao's cultivation had also improved greatly. When Yanran released 30% of her pressure, Qiao Xiao was not prepared. He immediately knelt on the ground, unable to suppress the urge to submit. Can you stand it? If you can't, I'll stop. Although Qiao Xiao was in a sorry state, he still smiled at Yanran and said, Come on, your brother Qiao, I can stand it. Just as he finished speaking, a powerful force exploded in the air, condensing into an invisible ice wall, pressing down on Qiao Xiao's body, forcing him to bend down, bend his knees, and lower his head. Qiao Xiao gritted his teeth, put his hands on his knees, and tried to straighten his body and raise his head. Because of the overly strong resistance, his body was trembling. The power of the higher void was indeed strong. Every cell in his blood was clamoring for him to submit. Every bone in his body felt like it was about to be broken, and every muscle felt like it was about to be cut off. Qiao Xiao suddenly laughed. He propped himself up and raised his chin high. His face was pale and his eyes were red. He gritted his teeth and pulled up the corners of his lips. His smile was ruffian and arrogant. His chin was sharp, but his lower jaw was firm. When he raised his head, the lines of his neck were elongated. Under the light, it was extremely beautiful, like a magical wildflower that had killed its way out of the rocks and gravel at the highest point of the cliff, blooming proudly and looking down on everything. That's enough. Add a little more. At this time, Qiao Xiao could basically straighten his body. He raised his eyebrows and smiled arrogantly. Yanran heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, it was much better than she thought. Thus, in the next second, Yanran increased the pressure to 50%. Qiao Xiao couldn't bear it at once, and his whole body was pressed down to his knees in an instant. Fortunately, he held on at the last second. When his knees were less than 5 centimeters from the ground, he held on. The tip of one foot touched the ground, and his fingers supported the ground. His knuckles turned from white to green, and because of the excessive force, they trembled at a high frequency. The strong pressure made it difficult for him to breathe, and his face was completely drained of blood. Qiao Xiao let go of the hands supporting the ground, stabilized his breathing, and straightened his back little by little. But at the moment when he was about to stand up, his strength couldn't bear it, and he was pressed down again. He supported the ground again, stood up again, and failed again. Supported the ground, stood up, and failed again. Over and over again, many broken beads of sweat had accumulated on the ground. Yanran felt that the corners of her eyes and chest were sore and swollen. Qiao Xiao, I'm going to increase my strength. You have to hold on. After saying that, the pressure pressed down on Qiao Xiao's head like Mount Tai. Qiao Xiao couldn't bear it anymore, and was pressed to the ground. He felt a sweet taste in his throat, and spat out a mouthful of blood. Yanran hurriedly withdrew the pressure, and went forward to hug Qiao Xiao. At this time, Qiao Xiao finally recovered. In Yanran's arms, he smiled weakly. I'm fine. Didn't you see that I made it? Her brilliance and forbearance were the most moving. Yanran suppressed the discomfort in her heart, and said to Qiao Xiao, This is just pressure. A real expert will beat someone up while using pressure. This is too hard for you. Then is it hard to get rid of the devil chi for me, or this kind of training? Qiao Xiao asked, panting. Yanran was silent. Then it's fine. Miss Yan has always been cold-hearted. You can't be soft-hearted now. Yanran bit her lip and nodded. In the following days, Yanran hardened her heart and used all kinds of methods, and even beat Xiao Xiao violently. Xiao Xiao didn't resist at all, and let Yen Ran beat him like this. The more she beat him, the happier he became. Blood flowed from the corner of his mouth, and he said to Yen Ran with a smile, "Hit me, it doesn't hurt at all." Yen Ran really hardened her heart. She had to make Xiao Xiao feel pain. Only pain could stimulate the devil qi in his body, and make him want to take revenge. But after beating him, even she felt sorry for him, and then she hurriedly used her spiritual power to help him heal. In this way, Xiao Xiao finally got through it again and again. Although he was smiling, all the meridians in his body were really tortured by Yen Ran, who was in the higher void realm. They were constantly broken and reconnected, and then broken again. In the end, Xiao Xiao couldn't laugh anymore. At the last moment before he closed his eyes and fainted, he said to Yen Ran, "I'm in so much pain." Yen Ran hugged Xiao Xiao in her arms. Her heart hurt as if it was branded, but she knew that Xiao Xiao had to pass this test. Although it couldn't be compared to the pain caused by extracting the devil qi, it was still unbearable for ordinary people. Xiao Xiao was in pain, and so was she. One was in pain physically, and the other was in pain in her heart. Only by completely curing him and watching him laugh and jump and talk to her, did Yen Ran feel that her heart had recovered. She knew that she had played. She had fallen in love with this unscrupulous and kind, peerless, handsome man. Finally, it was the last day. Yen Ran stood nervously at the door of her grandfather's study. She was still in a panic. She took a deep breath and encouraged herself. Then she knocked on the door and walked in. "Grandpa, I'm here to report the mission. The task you gave me has been successfully completed." Yen Ran returned to her cold and rational appearance. "Oh, how did you do it?" Elder Yen was fiddling with the teapot in his hand. "According to our rules, I extracted the devil qi from his body." Yen Ran answered calmly. "Are you willing to do that? Can you do that?" Elder Yen asked casually. Yen Ran's heart skipped a beat. "Yes, Grandpa. There's nothing I can't do. As long as it's something harmful to human beings, I will never tolerate it." Yen Ran's words were sonorous and powerful. "Good, that's my good granddaughter. Those who do big things don't care about trifles. These demons and monsters will strangle him in the cradle. Otherwise, he will cause us more trouble in the future. And you are now representing the heavy weight of our southern families. Everyone is paying attention to your every move. You have to be a good representative of the southern families. There will be more important tasks and burdens on your shoulders in the future. Grandpa is very satisfied with you. Sometimes, you make some small mistakes so that you won't make big mistakes in the future. You have to learn from this incident. Although you set things right in the end, your kindness has become your weakness. Yen Ran, with your qualifications, you will take over my position in the future. As a superior person, you have to be ruthless. You can't act on impulse. You can't rely on your mood. There are many relationships that need to be balanced and coordinated. There are many things that you have to do. As long as you don't make a big mistake, you will be able to take over my position. Yen Ran, I believe in you." Hearing Grandpa's long speech, Yen Ran's heart trembled. "Thank you, Grandpa." This was the first time that she had disobeyed and lied to Grandpa. This was something that he had never thought of. But for Xiao Xiao, she had to do it. She hoped Grandpa could forgive her. Coming out of Grandpa's house, Yen Ran looked up at the sky and breathed a long sigh of relief. The big stone in her heart finally fell to the ground. She suddenly felt much lighter. The pressure that had been in her heart for a long time was released. She walked briskly down the stairs and got on the car. But these movements were seen by Elder Yen, who was standing at the window of the study. Elder Yan's eyes darkened. He picked up the phone and dialed a familiar number. "Director Fong, long time no see. How are you?" "Elder Yen, how is your grandmother?" "I've been thinking about you." Director Fong's hearty laughter came from the phone. "I'm fine. Yen Ran usually works in the district under your jurisdiction. Thank you for taking care of her." "Elder Yen, what are you talking about? Yen Ran doesn't need me to take care of her. She is the pride of our district education bureau. Do you have any orders for me today? Just tell me directly. I promise to complete the task. Ha ha, Director Fong, you know me well. I do have something to ask you. There is a classmate in the same class as Yenran. His name is Qiao Xiao. Do you know him? Yes, he is a handsome young man. He is famous in Nanchuan Middle School. Last time, he won the Information Science Olympiad. He also won glory for the district. Very good. This young man's grades weren't very good, but now his grades have improved. So you are quite optimistic about this young man? Elder Yen was a little surprised. Yes, this young man is very excellent. Such a student is rare in the district. Director Fong reported what he knew to Elder Yen one by one. It seems that there is some discrepancy with the information we got. Here is the thing. We got the news that this Qiao Xiao has been contaminated with devil energy. But we don't know whether it is true or not. So I want you to do me a favor. Find a way to verify whether there is devil energy in his body. How could such a thing happen? How could he be contaminated? This matter needs to be taken seriously. It would be a pity if such a good seedling turned into a bad person. Elder Yen, don't worry. I have been your subordinate for many years. I will help you investigate this small matter clearly. One more thing. Pay attention to keep it a secret. Especially don't let Yenran know. After all, he is her classmate. Don't worry. I know the discipline of our organization. I will give you an answer after I finish the task. Okay, then I will leave it to you. Elder Yen hung up the phone. Director Fong had always been a great general under him. However, he was a hidden person. Unless it was necessary, he would not use his power. He was one of the few masters of Zixuan in the southern aristocratic family. Chapter 79. Brother Qiao, let me tell you a big piece of news. I just saw Bingshan Yen smile at me. Ma Xiaoxian felt as if his entire life had been shocked. Are you a masochist? You'll only feel happy if she doesn't smile at you, right? Qiao Xiao slapped him on the head. No, it's normal for her not to smile at me. If she smiled at me, could it be that she likes me? There's a beauty smiling at me. Ma Xiaoxian put on a starry-eyed expression. Qiao Xiao wanted to twist his head off and kick it like a ball. What's in your head? No matter how you look at it, she wouldn't like you. She doesn't even like me. Brother Qiao, you're too much of a blow. Ma Xiaoxian covered his head. Although I'm not as good-looking as you, I'm still a warm guy. Hey, big news, big news. Bingshan Yan smiled today, everyone is flattered. Zhang Deong skipped over. Qiao Xiao was shocked. Yenran seemed to be in a good mood. Could it be that something good happened? After a while, Yenran walked into the classroom with a smile on her face. She even took the initiative to greet everyone. Wang Jinyan's glasses slid down from his nose onto the table. He blankly responded, "Hi, Yenran, good morning." The sun rose from the west. The little white bun on Yenran's head actually learned from Qiao Xiao and started doing a street dance. It jumped around on Yenran's head. The handsome head froze and directly gave Qiao Xiao a flirtatious look. Seeing Yenran like this, Qiao Xiao wasn't used to it. He poked Yenran's back. "Hey, beauty, what are you so happy about?" "Nothing, I just feel that today's sun is especially bright and the students are very friendly." Yenran turned her head and said to Qiao Xiao with a bright smile. "You don't want to say, or I'll tickle you." Qiao Xiao pretended to be threatening. His hand turned into a claw and was about to reach under Yenran's armpit. Yenran quickly used her hand to stop Qiao Xiao's claw. She gave a flirtatious look and said, "Don't mess around. We're in the classroom." Qiao Xiao's body went limp after hearing her words. He said to Yenran in a low voice, "So you mean that we can mess around when we're not in the classroom?" Yenran looked at him and began to talk nonsense without a bottom line. She stared at him and said with a straight face, "Don't talk nonsense." She then turned her head and answered the world of course. Chow Chow looked at the little white bun on top of her head. It was faintly dyed with a layer of red. He opened his mouth in satisfaction. Students, the final exam is coming soon. Time really flies. In the blink of an eye, half of the second year of high school is almost over. There are only 500 days left until the final college entrance exam. The winter exam of the second year of high school is very important. If you don't have a solid foundation, it will affect your college entrance exam results. Everyone must pay attention to it and build a solid foundation. Be prepared for the college entrance exam next semester. If you can afford it, you should study more during the winter break. You must cherish your life in high school. The teacher on the stage kept ringing the alarm bell, conveying the anxiety to everyone. The exam is coming soon. How are we going to survive? Zhang Deong began to wail. Brother Chow, you were at the bottom in the first year of high school. How did you become the leader in the second year? What trick do you have? Can you teach me a little? Ma Xiaoxian also rushed to Chow Zhao's side and began to ask for advice. There's no trick. You'll be fine after your brain is damaged. Chow Xiao said casually. That's true. Brother Chow has been to the hospital so many times. Is it really fine after your brain is damaged? I want my brain to be damaged too. They laughed and joked. Soon, it was time for class. There seemed to be people visiting the school today. The campus was very quiet. The principal accompanied a few leaders to each classroom to inspect. Director Fong, this is our high school department. This floor is for the second year of high school. We have 2 students in the second year, 3, class. I guess you've heard of them. One is Yen Ran, the gold medal of the Olympiad. The other is Chow Xiao, the champion of the National Information Science Olympiad. Principal Yi personally accompanied a few leaders of the Education Bureau today. He was introducing the school's outstanding students to them. Oh, 2 from the same class. Not bad, not bad. Which 2 are they? Point them out to me. Please look. It's the man and woman sitting in the last row and the second last row in the corner. Principal Yi directly pointed at Chow Xiao and Yen Ran from outside the window. The whole class was in class. Because the window was closed, they didn't know what the leaders outside were talking about. They only saw Principal Yi pointing. Brother Chow, Principal Yi seems to be pointing at you and Yen Ran. Zhang Deong secretly nudged Chow Xiao. Chow Xiao was currently using a book to block the teacher's view and sleeping on the table. Although his grades were already very good, his habits in class weren't very good. Whenever he had the chance, he would sleep on his stomach. Oh, just point. Don't disturb my sleep. Chow Xiao smacked his lips and turned to continue sleeping. But his face just happened to turn to the window and was seen by Director Fong of the Education Bureau. You're talking about the one sleeping on his stomach? Director Fong's voice couldn't help but become stiff. This damn Chow Xiao. How could he sleep in class and even be caught red-handed by the director? Isn't this a disgrace to the school? So what if you won a big prize? If you can't even do the basic quality of a student, how can you be a good student? This? Principal Yi was quite embarrassed. I'll remind their class teacher that they must tighten the classroom discipline. How about this? This Chow Xiao can be considered a famous student. In a while, you can call him to the student discussion. Director Fong's face was gloomy. He took the lead and walked to another class. Principal Ye's head was full of cold sweat. The clothes on his back were a little wet. Director Fong's requirements in teaching were very strict. He also had high expectations for Nanchuan High School. Every year, he would visit the school and invite teachers and students for an interview. Originally, he had already chosen the candidates for the discussion, but he didn't expect to add Chow Xiao at the last minute. He didn't inform Chow Xiao beforehand. What if he talked nonsense? But now there was no time for impromptu training. The discussion would begin after the tour of the school. The venue wasn't even set up for Sika. Principal Yi quickly gave the dean next to him a look and ordered, "Quickly go and add Chow Xiao to the discussion and arrange Sika's seat. Then, You tell him in advance that he can't talk nonsense. After that, he hurriedly followed Director Fong's footsteps. The dean also knew the seriousness of the matter. Seeing that Director Fong and Principal Yi had already walked to the corner and were about to go downstairs, he quietly lagged behind. He directly knocked on the door of Grade 2-3 class. "Miss Zhu, please ask Xiao Xiao to come out." This time, Xiao Xiao couldn't sleep anymore. He was directly awakened by Yanran. Yanran saw that he was actually sleeping and stared at him. "The dean is looking for you." Xiao Xiao didn't know what was going on and went out in a daze. "Xiao Xiao, how can you sleep in class?" The dean lowered his voice and criticized in the corridor. Xiao Xiao scratched his head. He still didn't understand what was going on. "Do you know that Director Fong from the Education Bureau saw you sleeping just now? Principal Yi was even introducing your results and the awards you received. How embarrassed do you think it is for Principal Yi?" The dean looked as if he expected better from Yi Lingchen. When Xiao Xiao heard this, he finally understood that he had bumped into the muzzle of a gun. He immediately laughed and said to the dean, "Dean, please calm down. I just took a nap. I studied too late last night. It wasn't on purpose. Later you can find a chance to explain to the principal. Only you know how to talk nonsense. What kind of reason is that? Will anyone here believe it? You always use studying as an excuse." The dean still continued to criticize Xiao Xiao. "Director, you've really wronged me. Think about it. How much effort did I have to put in to go from the last place to the second place? It's common for me to stay up late every night until 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and 4 o'clock. That's why I'm sleepy during the day." Yanran looked at Xiao Xiao's mouth in the classroom. The dean was speechless. Okay, I won't argue with you about this. Let me tell you, Director Fong specifically asked you to attend the student conference. When you speak later, you must be more reasonable. Anything that is detrimental to the school, anything that you have opinions about the management of our school, you must not mention it. The director of the Education Bureau and the others came to investigate because they hope to see a positive image of our school. I see that you are so eloquent and smart enough. You must be able to understand later. The dean quickly changed the topic. There wasn't much time left. This Xiao Xiao was too eloquent. "Oh, do I have to go?" "Of course." Originally, it was arranged for Yanran to go. But now, Director Fong specifically asked you to go. Then, both of you will go together. Remember, I trust Yanran more. She is also very reliable. You just have to listen to what Yanran says. Don't say anything negative." The dean said earnestly. I understand. Don't worry, Dean. This is related to the principal's performance. I will not embarrass our school. This is related to the school's honor. What does it have to do with the principal's performance? Look at you, Xiao Xiao. You must be steady. Don't talk nonsense. What you said just now was wrong. Do you remember it? The dean's mouth was dry from all the talking. The worry in his heart was like a 1,000-layer pancake. The innermost part of his heart couldn't be released no matter how hard he tried. It's almost time. Hurry up and call Yanran. The two of you come with me to the conference room. Xiao Xiao knocked on the classroom door and said to Miss Zhu, the school invited Yanran to attend the conference. Yanran actually knew that she was going to attend the conference. The teacher had given her the outline of the answers in advance. She just didn't expect Xiao Xiao to go. The two of them followed the dean to the conference room. Yanran quietly asked Xiao Xiao, "Why were you selected?" "How would I know? Because I am handsome." Yanran rolled her eyes. "You only know how to talk nonsense. Were you caught sleeping just now?" "Hee, Yanran, I knew you were the smartest. Why can't anything escape your mind? Be careful when you speak later. This Director Fong is very powerful." Chapter 80. What's so great about a director like him? I heard that nothing major has happened under his administration. Instead, his performance in managing the school has been improving. That can only mean that his management ability is strong. How can you say that he's great? He should be a master, but I can't tell his level. You mean he's also a cultivator? I just have a feeling. But there's no chi coming out of his head, so I'm not sure. But the aura around him was very strong and oppressive. The two of them whispered to each other and soon arrived at the meeting room. In the meeting room, the staff had already put Xiao Xiao and Sika on the table in time. It was a rectangular meeting table. The principal and Director Fong were sitting at the head of the table. On the left side of the long table was the accompanying teacher, and on the right side was the student being interviewed. The staff immediately gave Xiao Xiao a copy of the outline of the interview. These are only the questions that may be asked and the answers. He may ask some other questions on the spot. It's up to you. Don't make any mistakes, the staff said again and again. Yenran, isn't this too formal? Xiao Xiao leaned close to Yenran and asked in a low voice. There are some formalities in the officialdom that are necessary. Yenran looked straight ahead when she answered. She didn't even move her body. Xiao Xiao saw that everyone was so serious. He couldn't say anything more and sat up straight. Soon, Principal Yi walked into the meeting room with Director Fong and a group of teachers. After everyone took their seats, Principal Yi gave an opening speech. First of all, we welcome Director Fong to take time out of his busy schedule to do research in our school. We warmly welcome Director Fong's arrival. Next, Vice Principal Wang, please report to Director Fong the results of our school's work in the past year as well as some shortcomings. After the opening remarks, Vice President Wang went to the reporting table and opened the PowerPoint. He reported the school's lack of achievements in the past year and the main work performance one by one. Everyone present listened very seriously and kept nodding. Xiao Xiao was getting more and more bored. Although the school was also his school, the teacher's bureaucratic speech really didn't make him interested. He also began to nod, but this nod was different from the others. He was beginning to doze off. Yenran happened to be sitting next to him. Seeing him like this, she quietly reached out her hand from below, pinched his thigh, and pinched it hard. Xiao Xiao suddenly woke up and turned to look at Yenran. Yenran glanced at him, indicating that he should listen carefully. Xiao Xiao gave her a helpless look. He took out his phone from under the table and secretly sent Yenran a WeChat message. You're sexually harassing me. Yenran sneaked a peek at him and immediately gave him a big mop ball. The two's eye contact finally woke Xiao Xiao up a little. However, when he was amused by Yenran, he just happened to catch a glimpse of Director Fong on the stage staring at him. Oh no, he was discovered. He hurriedly flashed a mysterious smile at Bureau Chief Fong. Director Fong seemed to snort through his nose. He glared at him again and didn't look at him anymore. Finally, the tedious report was over. Next was the speech of the student representative. At this time, Xiao Xiao realized that Yenran was not only here as a student representative, but also as a representative to speak. Yenran walked up calmly. She didn't even have a script in her hand. She directly opened the PowerPoint and stood on the podium to report to everyone. Looking at the expressionless Yenran on the podium, Xiao Xiao praised her from the bottom of his heart. His Yenran was the best. She was so calm and steady in everything she did, and she could do it very well. Yenran's report was sonorous and powerful. It reflected the students' liveliness and rigor. The teachers, the principal, and Director Fong were all very satisfied. Director Fong knew that she was Elder Yan's granddaughter. She was indeed the best successor of the southern aristocratic families. She deserved her reputation. Yenran also spoke for a long time. She spoke for about 40 minutes. This time, Xiao Xiao didn't doze off. He listened to the whole thing with great interest. When Yenran returned to the seat next to him, Xiao Xiao secretly gave her a thumbs up. After that, it was Bureau Chief Fong's request for the school's teachers. Bureau Chief Fong also had a set of requirements. There were 4 basic points, 5 expositions, and 6 arguments. When Bureau Chief Fong finished speaking, more than an hour had passed. Chow zhao's but was a bit numb from sitting. He secretly sent a message to Yen Ran. Can I go to the bathroom? Yen Ran shook her finger at him, indicating that she couldn't do it. Chow Xiao had no choice but to sit there patiently. Director Fong's long speech had finally come to an end. Now it was time for the important Q&A session. Chow Xiao, I want to ask, what do you think about sleeping in class? Director Fong's words immediately woke Chow Xiao up from his boredom. When he heard Director Fong call him by name, he had to stand up. Hello, Director Fong. I'm Chow Xiao from class 2 to 3. I think about sleeping in class. First of all, sleeping in class is definitely wrong. But if a student sleeps in class, you have to understand the situation and why he's sleeping. Is it because the teacher didn't teach well, or the student learned too late? Second of all, does sleeping in class help students recover their energy? Students have a lot of homework to do. If they encounter content that they already know, can they take a break during class so that they can use their energy in more useful places? Finally, sleeping in class is actually not a good sleep. The surrounding noise is too loud. If a student sleeps in class, they should just close their eyes to rest. Sometimes, the content of the teacher's lecture will still be like a mosquito drilling into their ears. When she heard Chow Zhao's long speech, Yen Ran silently lit a candle for him in her heart. This guy usually likes to talk nonsense. In this kind of situation, he's still making up nonsense. The principal also used his gaze to kill Chow Xiao. If he could kill him, he would have already stabbed him several times. But Chow Xiao was like this. Director Fong's question was tricky. He was also caught red-handed. If he didn't defend himself, then what would he do? On the stage, Director Fong was so angry that he laughed. Except for the first sentence that was relatively pertinent, the rest of your words are nonsense. It seems that you often sleep in class and even find excuses for sleeping. Sleeping in class is a very serious violation of the school rules. Why don't you reflect on yourself? Why are you still defending yourself? Principal Yi, is this how you teach students? Principal Ye's head was covered in cold sweat. He quickly stood up and said to Director Zhang, Director, calm down. Students nowadays are all flamboyant. But Chow Xiao is still very outstanding in other aspects. If there's anything lacking in this area, we'll slowly educate him when we go back. Slowly educate him? That's it. There's a problem from the root of his thinking. How do you educate him? Okay, then let me ask another student. Yenran, what do you think about sleeping in class? When Yenran heard this, she could only brace herself and stand up. She glanced at Chow Xiao and then at Director Fong. I think sleeping in class is definitely wrong. Sleeping in class will make you miss the teacher's wonderful speech. At the same time, you'll have to spend time after class to make up for a lot of knowledge. It's not worth it. Her words were short and to the point. Director Fong nodded. You two are in the same class. Then it seems that it's not the teacher's education that has a problem, but your own personal understanding that has a problem. If I didn't come today, I wouldn't have been able to hear such a wonderful discussion. Principal, how do you think this matter should be handled? Director Fong, do you think this is okay? I'll have Chow Xiao immediately write a 3,000-word self-reflection and hand it in. Let him reflect on himself. Principal Yi lowered his head and bowed as he hurriedly replied. What's the use of just writing a self-reflection? You have to do it in front of the whole school. You have to let him deeply understand his mistakes and correct them from the root of his thinking. This is a very serious ideological problem. If a student can't recognize his own position, then he'll be a cancer to society when he enters society. Director Fong's voice became louder and louder, and he began to bang the table. Chow Xiao became angrier and angrier. According to his temperament, he must have flipped the table and quarreled long ago. However, Yenron's hand pressed tightly on his thigh, indicating that he shouldn't be impulsive. Chow Xiao looked at the teacher's serious expressions. They all stared at him as if they wanted to eat him. Then, he looked at Director Fong on the stage. His mouth opened and closed, and the words he said became more and more unreliable. He was so angry that a fire rose in his heart and went straight to his head. This bastard director was completely unreasonable. He was making a mountain out of a molehill. He was completely looking for trouble. He was about to talk back when Yenron's text came. "Don't say anything now. Just bear with it and it'll be over." He abruptly swallowed back the words of resistance in his mouth. "Well, listen to Yenran. Bear with it and it'll be all right." So Xiao Xiao was like a sawed-off gourd. He didn't say anything. He just lowered his head and didn't look at others, sitting there in a daze. Director Fong actually made a mountain out of a molehill because he wanted to see Xiao Xiao's reaction. He had to find a way to solve the task that Elder Yen gave him. He knew that if people who really had devil chi heard these provocative words, or if they were wronged, they would definitely lose their cool. Not only would there be resentment, but there would also be resistance. Director Fong did this to provoke his resentment and resistance. However, he was like a machine gun on the stage, shooting at Xiao Xiao for nearly half an hour. This Xiao Xiao was like a tree hole as steady as Mount Tai. He was only responsible for receiving and never output. Could it be that Elder Yen was wrong? This was completely the reaction of a normal person. He didn't have a trace of devil chi on him. Director Fong had nothing more to say. This matter was settled. A 3,000-word self-criticism in front of all the teachers and students of the school. He finally added that the self-criticism must be handwritten and not printed. Xiao Xiao still bowed his head indifferently. He was only responsible for receiving. Director Fong saw that it was about time. Then, he asked a few other questions related to the students. He asked several other students to answer. Those people all answered reasonably. They had all memorized the answers in advance. The answers couldn't be wrong. Chapter 81. The inspection finally came to an end. A large group of people sent Director Fong off. Xiao Xiao, Yenran, and the others were also in the group. At the school gate, they saw the car slowly approaching. Everyone let out a sigh of relief. This torturous investigation was finally coming to an end. Director Fong shook everyone's hand and said goodbye. When it was Yenron's turn, he held Yenron's hand and talked endlessly. He kept praising Yenron's excellence in all aspects. At this moment, a speeding electric scooter came from the school gate. It just so happened that a child was crossing the street. The speed of the electric scooter was too fast. At this time, other than the group of people and a parked car, there were no other cars or pedestrians on the road. The child was about 5 or 6 years old. For some reason, the adults weren't with him. He was jumping and jumping across the road. He was holding a lollipop in his hand. He only cared about tasting the sweetness of the lollipop. He didn't care at all that there was a scooter speeding towards him. The scooter couldn't dodge in time and desperately honked. The child was thinking about something while walking. His thoughts were clearly not on his feet or the surrounding environment. The child was about 30 meters away from Xiao Xiao and the others. Everyone who saw it held their breath. There were even people who started shouting, "Child, run." There were also a few people who had already rushed towards the child. Seeing that the scooter was about to collide with the child, the people around them were so scared that they cried out in alarm. Director Fong and Yenran were holding hands and talking. At this time, they were also attracted by the noise from the side. They unconsciously raised their heads and turned their eyes. Yenran's reaction was the fastest. She glanced around and knew that something was going to happen to the child. She was about to turn around and rush over. But someone beside her had already rushed to the child's side with inhuman speed. He picked him up and spun him around, taking him to the other side of the road. At the same time, because of the momentum, the person took the child and rolled to the ground. The scooter didn't stop at all. It roared past and even turned around to curse. What kind of quality is this? The people around started to scold the cyclist, but when they saw that the child was finally saved, they stopped scolding him. A few people went up to check on the child's condition. Only then did they realize that it was a handsome boy who had saved the child. This person was none other than Xiao Xiao. Principal Yi also hurried over. Xiao Xiao, good job. You stepped forward bravely at this moment. You are a student's role model. The other teachers also rushed over to help. Xiao Xiao, you're really good. You're a brave Samaritan. Xiao Xiao had already stood up at this time. He patted the dust off his body and pretended to smile. Teacher, don't praise me. If I didn't step forward at this critical moment, wouldn't the child be gone? Good, good, good. This heroic deed will be praised by the whole school. Principal Yi patted Xiao Xiao's shoulder happily. Director Fong and Yen Ran also came over at this time. He finally had a good look at Xiao Xiao. Xiao Xiao, good job. You did a good job today. Director Fong, you're too kind. It's what I should do. Xiao Xiao scratched his head, pretending to be innocent. I saw that you were running very fast. Are you usually a sprinter? Not really. Anyway, I prefer to run. Xiao Xiao then realized that he seemed to have used a bit of demonic energy to rush out quickly. At that time, he didn't think about anything. Could it be that he gave himself away? Yen Ran chimed in from the side. In a moment of desperation, everyone's potential is huge. Just now, Xiao Xiao burst out her own potential. That's true. But your speed just now was comparable to Usain Bolt. It seems that you're not only good at computer science, but also have some strength in sports. Director Fong, you're right. Xiao Xiao's breakdancing is also very good. He's also very good at basketball. He should be a comprehensive talent in our school. Principal Yi added in a timely manner. After this episode, Director Fong finally got in the car and left. At this time, Xiao Xiao ran to Principal Yi with a bitter face. Principal, can I make up for my mistakes? You saw that I acted bravely just now. Can you help me get rid of the 3,000-word self-reflection? Principal Yi was happy in his heart. You brat, who told you to sleep in class and get caught by Chief Zhang? Forget it, don't give a speech under the national flag. Just leave the self-reflection to me. Sigh. Xiao Xiao touched his nose. It seemed that his hand was going to be sore for a while. After Director Fong went back, he carefully combed through Xiao Xiao's reaction from beginning to end. In general, Xiao Xiao's performance in the meeting was quite perfect. He also didn't find any demonic energy on him. The only thing that was a little strange was that his running speed was too fast. In the situation just now, it was possible for a cultivator like them to reach such a speed. As for an ordinary person, even if he was a sprinting champion, could he burst out with the strength of a leopard in a short period of time? Director Fong's original doubts had been dispelled, but now they were raised again. But overall, in his impression, Xiao Xiao should be a good kid now. He didn't seem like a person with a bad character who was tainted by demonic energy. It seemed that he had to find a way to test him again. Secretary Yu, tell me about my recent schedule. Okay, Director Fong. In the near future, you will need to go to a few institutions for research. You also need to go to the city for a meeting to study this year's enrollment plan. You also need to go to the province for a meeting to study this year's college entrance examination reform. Which institutions? One of the biggest training institutions in the area and 2 private schools. Seems like I'm very busy this week. What if I can't find the time? Director Fong was thinking about how to test whether or not he had demonic energy. Secretary Yu continued, recently, there have been some triads collecting protection fees at the school gates. This matter has been reported to the district by the city's Public Security Bureau. They may invite you to a meeting to discuss and coordinate. It depends on your schedule. Recently, there have been triads collecting protection fees? This matter needs to be taken seriously. Put this agenda forward and have a meeting to understand the details. Recently, the whole country has been cracking down on criminals. These people actually dare to commit crimes. Looks like they don't want to live long. Secretary Yu joked. Director Fong leaned against the car seat and narrowed his eyes. No one knew what he was thinking. After school, Chow Chow and a few classmates parted ways at the school gate and walked to the milk tea shop next door. Yenran still had something to do. Today, he and Yenran had agreed to study the content of the hibiscus score together. He went to buy a cup of milk tea and waited for her at the school gate. Ever since Chow Chow completely hid the demonic energy in his body, the two of them were getting closer and closer. However, Yenran was still very busy. Other than going to school, she often had to go out on missions. Chow Chow, on the other hand, would go to the library to read books, play basketball, and dance when he had nothing to do. Now, studying was no longer his biggest headache. He had a lot of time to think about other things, such as cultivation. He bought a cup of milk tea and drank it himself. He also held a cup in his hand for Yenran. He leaned against the door of the milk tea shop like a shining object, attracting the young boys and girls coming and going. And right in front of him was the school gate. When Yenran came out, he could see her at a glance. There were students constantly greeting him. There were also young girls who came to give him gifts with blushing faces. He responded with a smile, and everyone came and left happily. Chow Chow was very generous to his fans. He was never stingy with his smile. 1 or 2 sentences could make them very happy. No wonder Chow Chow was so popular. Today, Yenran came out a little late. Chow Chow had almost finished his cup of milk tea, but he still didn't see her. Just as he was bored to death, a dramatic scene suddenly appeared at the school gate. 2 boys wearing his school uniform were blocking people at the school gate. They waited for a long time and saw a skinny little boy walk out of the school with a backpack. They grabbed his backpack and dragged the little boy into the alley. When the little boy saw the 2 people, he trembled in fear. But he didn't say anything and was directly dragged away by them. From Chow Zhao's angle, he could see the situation in the alley. The 3 boys entered the alley. The backpack was thrown to the ground with a bang. The skinny boy was pushed against the wall. The 2 people wearing his school uniform suddenly showed their ferocity. They waved their fists fiercely and said something to him. Chow Chow was far away and couldn't hear what they were saying. But according to his judgment, he could see that the 2 students from his school were definitely up to no good. After a while, they searched the boy's body and poured everything in the backpack on the ground. But after searching for a long time, they didn't seem to find a single cent. It seemed that the delinquents were bullying the weak students and robbing money. Chow Chow thought that since they didn't find anything, they should let the boy go. He didn't want to be nosy. He was afraid that he would miss Yenran as soon as he entered the alley. But the 2 people wearing his school uniform didn't have the intention to let the boy go. Instead, they started to make a phone call. After the phone call, the 2 people started to yell at the boy, punching and kicking him. The little boy was beaten until he hugged his head and shrank in the corner. He looked very pitiful. After a while, a person that Chow Chow was very familiar with came. It was really an old acquaintance. They hadn't seen each other in a long time. He saw that this person still looked like he wasn't to be trifled with. He wore a big gold chain and had a mouth full of yellow teeth. He came over and asked about the situation. He smiled sinisterly at the little boy on the ground. Chow Chow couldn't hear what he was saying. He only found that his gaze was more lascivious. After saying that, he directly pulled the boy up from the ground. He lifted his shirt and looked at it. Then, he wanted to pull up his pants. At this time, the boy desperately protected his pants as if he was protecting his chastity. He wanted to dodge and run away. But there were 3 people. How could he run away? In the eyes of these 3 people, the little boy was meat on the chopping board. They could chop him up however they wanted. Seeing that the boy's hands and feet were restrained, the man who came later carefully examined him as if he was checking his body. Then, he ordered the 2 students from his school to take the boy away. Chapter 82. Just as they were about to leave, a hand suddenly appeared in front of the man. It was white and bony, with perfectly manicured nails, and gave off a youthful and pleasant smell of sunshine. A magnetic voice rang out, "Boss Huang, long time no see. How have you been?" It was Chow Chow. So the man who came later was Boss Huang, an old acquaintance. He had some pleasant memories with old Huang on the first day of high school, but that was just Xiao Zhao's thought. At this moment, when Boss Huang saw Xiao Xiao, it was like a nightmare replaying itself. This handsome godlike face had long been engraved into his bones and blood. His legs went soft and he directly knelt on the ground on one knee. "Young Master Qiao, please be magnanimous and spare me." "What did you do?" "I just came to say hello." "Why did you kneel?" The hooligan's words were heart-wrenching. No, young Master Qiao, I didn't do anything wrong. My legs just went soft when I saw you." Boss Huang almost kowtowed. Please, save me. They want to take me to pay off their debt." Seeing the situation, the skinny teenager immediately broke free from the evil claws and hid behind Xiao Xiao. Xiao Xiao cast a sidelong glance at him. "You have such thin arms and legs. What debt can they take you to pay off their debt?" Boss Huang immediately cried out, "Brother Qiao, this kid's father owes us money and ran away. Who else can we look for if not him? It's only right that the son pays his father's debt. You can't blame us for this. And no matter what, even if this kid doesn't pay up, his father might come to ransom him if we keep him. Brother Qiao, we're just following orders." After saying that, Boss Huang felt that he was quite reasonable. "All right, I don't care about your trivial matters. But, we're at the school gate. Don't cause trouble and get lost." Xiao Xiao was getting impatient. Boss Huang hesitantly looked at the duck in his hand, and then looked at Xiao Zhao's sloppy and slightly threatening eyes. It seemed that he wouldn't be able to get anything good out of Xiao Xiao today, so he had no choice but to leave with his two underlings in his school uniform. The skinny boy thanked Xiao Xiao profusely. Xiao Xiao only said, "This matter still needs to be resolved by your family. Just because you escaped this time, it doesn't mean that they won't come looking for you." "I know. Anyway, thank you for today." After saying that, the boy wiped his tears and left. At this time, Xiao Xiao looked at the milk tea in his hand. It was already cold. When he returned to the school gate, he still did not see Yen Ran. "Why aren't you here yet?" Xiao Xiao threw away the original cup, and then went to buy a cup of hot milk tea. Thinking that waiting here wouldn't do, he decided to call Yen Ran. But he didn't expect that someone would suddenly rush over from the side, snatch the phone from Xiao Zhao's hand, and run away. Xiao Xiao was stunned. He didn't expect to run into someone snatching a phone at the entrance of a milk tea shop. He quickly threw the milk tea away, turned around, and chased after the person who snatched the phone. The person who snatched the phone ran very fast. Xiao Xiao didn't use his devil energy. Last time when he saved the child crossing the road, he almost gave himself away. Later, Yen Ran had already reminded him that he must act like a normal human being. As a result, he couldn't catch up with the person for a while. Seeing that the person was about to turn into the next alley, he simply jumped on a dumpster next to him, then took 2 steps to the top of the wall, and directly stepped over the roof of the small floating house. Sure enough, after taking a shortcut, Xiao Xiao immediately caught up. Seeing Xiao Xiao fall from the sky, the person was startled and immediately began to run back like a rabbit. Xiao Xiao was about to turn into the alley and continue chasing, but at this time, 2 people ran in front of him and then jumped down from the top of the wall. Now, Xiao Zhao's path was blocked. Xiao Xiao wasn't afraid at all. Instead, he laughed. "What, are you tired of living? Why are you blocking me here? Tell me your names and who sent you here." At this time, a few more people turned in from the alley. The person in the lead looked middle-aged and wore a hat that covered half of his face. But from the half of his face that was exposed, it was obvious that he was a ruthless person. At this time, he had a cigar in his mouth and was puffing out smoke. Someone came out from behind him and pointed at Xiao Xiao. He bowed and said to the person, "Boss, it's him." Xiao Xiao sneered. "I was wondering who it was. So it's Boss Huang. What, aren't you going to kneel down? Humph, you think I'm afraid of you? Didn't I give you face just now? Now that my boss is here, let's see what you can do to me." Boss Huang said with a stiff neck. "You've been defeated by me, and you still dare to talk nonsense here. I think you're looking for a beating. Chow Chow shook his clothes, straightened his collar, threw his school bag to the side, and then rolled up his sleeves. Boss, you see, this person is so arrogant. Last time I suffered a big loss at his hands, and the matter just now was also messed up by him. You must avenge me, Boss Huang said to his boss with a licking face. Are you deliberately going against us? What good will it do you to offend us? The boss in the hat finally spoke, his voice low and cold. I don't know what you're doing, and I'm not deliberately going against you. I just saw you bullying people at the school gate just now, and I said a few words. Chow Chow raised his eyebrows and explained faintly. Boss, this person beat me up indiscriminately before. I also said that the child's father owes us money, but he still wants to take care of it. Isn't he going against us? Boss Huang hurriedly explained. That's indeed your fault. The low voice sounded again. Meddling in other people's business won't end well. Chow Chow sneered. Then what do you want? We just need to let you know that there are some things you shouldn't meddle in. Go. The middle-aged man ordered, and the group of people under him rushed towards Chow Chow. They held sticks in their hands, and were as fierce as a few wolves. Damn it, they're really going to fight. Chow Chow cursed in his heart. He couldn't use devil energy now, so wouldn't it be obvious that he was going to be beaten? Since they came knocking on his door, it was necessary to resist. Chow Chow and those people went back and forth, but they had more people, and Chow Chow was alone, so he was accidentally hit several times. However, those people didn't have much of an advantage either. Chow Chow's punches were very strong, and one punch was enough to make them cry for their parents. The middle-aged man observed carefully from the side. Chow Chow won in terms of flexibility and strength, but he didn't use any other spells. Soon, Chow Chow was out of breath, but those people were also quickly knocked to the ground. At this time, only Boss Huang and the middle-aged man were left standing. The middle-aged man gave Boss Huang a look, meaning that he should go as well. Boss Huang knew how powerful Chow Chow was, so he braced himself and rushed towards Chow Chow with a stick. At this time, Chow Chow had already grabbed a stick in his hand. Seeing Boss Huang rushing over with great momentum, Chow Chow raised the stick, and the fierceness in his eyes made Boss Huang's heart tremble. Boss Huang rushed in front of Chow Chow and wanted to wave his stick, but suddenly he felt as if his knee was kicked. He lost his balance and leaned to the side, supporting himself with the stick in his hand on the ground. In this way, Chow Chow's iron stick hit him squarely on the back. Ouch! Boss Huang wailed loudly. He had been beaten to the ground, and he didn't want to fight with Chow Chow anymore. Knowing that he couldn't beat him, he crawled back to the middle-aged man. Boss, Chow Chow is too powerful. Why don't we retreat? A bunch of useless things, get out of here. At the middle-aged man's order, Boss Huang and the others got up from the ground and all limped away as if they had been granted amnesty. Chow Chow thought it was finally over. He picked up his bag, picked up his phone from the ground, covered his wound and prepared to leave. But he didn't expect the middle-aged man to have no intention of letting him go at all. At this time, there was no one in the alley. Before Chow Chow was ready, he felt like an overwhelming mountain was pressing down on him. The air around him formed 4 solid walls, and he was caught off guard and pressed into a narrow compartment made of air. The 4 walls of air were close to his body, and he instinctively raised his hand to protect his chest, resisting the air that was pressing down on him. But the strength of a human was not worth mentioning in front of a practitioner. An ant-like human would be trampled to death by an elephant. Chow Chow realized that this middle-aged man must be a practitioner. He really didn't expect the boss of a gang to be a practitioner. He forced his eyes open and stared at the middle-aged man in front of him. He saw that the man, who looked normal just now, had purple qi coming out of his head. It seemed that he was a master of Zixuan. Chow Chow was immediately alerted. Why would a master of Zixuan come to deal with him? Could it be that his identity had been exposed? Like Yen Ran said, others might not believe that his devil energy was gone. She was probably here to test him. Now that Xiao Xiao knew what to do, he knew what to do. He gritted his teeth to restrain the eruption of his devil energy, and silently endured the disaster brought to him by a master of Zixuan. Although Yan Ran often trained him, and Taishu was more than one level higher than Zixuan, he only knew that Yan Ran was holding back when they fought. This was different from the pain that Yan Ran caused him. Although they were both pressure, Yan Ran would always withdraw a little when he couldn't bear it, and then slowly increase it. It was a kind of step-by-step training. But now, this person was giving him a crushing pressure that could topple mountains and overturn seas. He felt as if he had been submerged in the deep sea. The surrounding water pressure was causing him to gradually lose his 5 senses. It was as if he was drowning in the water. His lungs were swollen and uncomfortable, and it was very difficult for him to breathe. His whole body felt like it was being beaten by a hammer, and all the bones in his body were about to be broken into pieces. The pain went straight to his brain. He didn't know how painful level 10 pain was, but he knew that this was a torture worse than level 10. The middle-aged man looked at Xiao Xiao from the side. His face was gradually bleeding, but there was still no devil energy to resist. Could it be that this person really didn't have devil energy? Chapter 83. The middle-aged man added another heavy hammer strike, and another sharp pain came from the pressure. It was like a sharp knife was stabbing straight into his heart. Xiao Xiao sensed the danger and raised his arm with difficulty to block in front of his chest. However, the sharp knife was so sharp that it directly pierced through his forearm. Xiao Xiao clearly felt that his forearm was pierced, but he didn't know if his bones were hurt. However, the middle-aged man's cold eyes didn't care at all. It was as if he was looking at a dead person, allowing him to torture him however he wanted. At this time, Xiao Xiao realized that the middle-aged man seemed familiar, even though he had a hat covering most of his face. Just by looking at his eyes, Xiao Xiao felt a sense of familiarity. At this critical moment, he couldn't even keep his life. However, this feeling couldn't make him think deeply. He was already curled up on the ground, covered in wounds. He felt that all the bones in his body were broken. At this moment, he was like a soft caterpillar wriggling on the ground. The phone beside him kept vibrating. Xiao Xiao knew that it should be Yanran. However, he couldn't answer it. The middle-aged man wouldn't let him answer the phone either. The pain made every second drag on indefinitely. Xiao Xiao had already lost all color and fainted. At this time, the middle-aged man finally withdrew his pressure and kicked Xiao Xiao twice like he was kicking a rag. He saw that Xiao Xiao had already lost consciousness, and there was still no trace of devil energy seeping out. Maybe I was wrong. It's already like this. It's impossible for him not to resist. The middle-aged man whispered. It was late, and the clouds were dark. Tonight, the moon struggled to poke its head out of the dark clouds, but it failed in the end. Layer after layer of dark clouds shrouded the sky above Nanchuan High School. In a secluded alley, a young man with a face that couldn't be seen was lying beside a pile of trash. He had already lost consciousness. At this time, a stray cat passed by him and stopped 5 meters away from him. It carefully observed that the person in front of it was lying on the ground and seemed to be motionless. It mustered up its courage and walked forward, using its paw to poke at his hand. The wild cat found that there was still no movement. He simply jumped on him and used his body as a step to jump to the next trash can. It was also this that triggered the wound on Xiao Xiao's back. Pain. It was a heart-wrenching pain. Xiao Xiao finally regained consciousness. He didn't know where he was. He looked around and only saw a pair of green eyes on top of the garbage heap next to him, looking at him vigilantly. It seemed like it was raining. Large raindrops fell on his body. Ring, ring, ring. Xiao Xiao's cell phone suddenly vibrated as the melodious ringtone of her phone rang. Xiao Xiao was glad that he still had a phone beside him. He picked up the phone with difficulty. There were dozens of missed calls. At this time, the 2 words, Yanran, jumped crazily on the screen. He pressed the answer button. Yanran's voice came from the phone. Xiao Xiao, where are you? Why didn't you answer the phone? Chow Xiao opened his mouth to say something, but a mouthful of blood directly sprayed onto the phone. He was really glad that the phone was waterproof. Otherwise, he would have hung up directly. He coughed and said a few words with difficulty. "I'm next to the school, in the alley." Then, Chow Xiao seemed to use the last of his strength. The phone slipped from his hand and he didn't wake up again. Oh no, something happened. In the afternoon, Yanran came out late. When she walked to the door, she didn't see Chow Xiao at all. She called him, but no one answered. At first, Yanran thought that Chow Xiao should have gone home. She didn't care. But after waiting for a long time, there was still no reply. She called Uncle Wu. Uncle Wu said that the young master hadn't come home yet. Yanran was a little worried, but only a little. She felt that Chow Xiao would be fine. After she got home and finished her homework, she felt more and more uneasy. It was as if something was out of her control. Yanran began to dial the phone again, but no one answered. She began to panic. Could it be that something had happened? She started to call again and again. From afternoon to night, she felt that she couldn't stay at home. The house was like a cage, making her breathless. She had to do something. The dark clouds in the distance had floated over Yanran's house. The weather forecast said that there would be a heavy rain tonight. The dark road in front of the house was lit up by a few dim street lights. Yanran told her mother that she had to go out for something. Her mother thought that she was going on a mission again. She just reminded her to be careful. Yanran agreed reluctantly. Like the wind, she ran out of the door with her uneasiness. It was already raining outside. Yanran left in a hurry and forgot to take an umbrella. Her mind wasn't on these things at all. She only had one thought now. She had to find Chow Xiao as soon as possible. She thought carefully. She had made an appointment with Chow Xiao to wait for her at the school gate. Logically speaking, he shouldn't have gone far. If he didn't wait for her, he should have called. So Yanran still rushed to the school gate. She searched the surrounding alleys carefully. The rain was getting heavier. It was out of control. It fell from the sky and hit Yanran like little ice shards. As Yanran walked, she persistently dialed the number. She was about to reach a deeper alley next to the school. This was the last alley. It was as if Yanran was doing a carpet search, considering every possible route. Ding! The phone in her hand suddenly connected like a Pandora's box. Yanran was stunned. She quickly shouted into the phone, "Chow Xiao, where are you? Why aren't you answering the phone?" After waiting for a long time, she heard a hoarse voice say, "I'm in the alley." Yanran continued to shout on the phone, but there was no response. "Alley. Alley." Chow Xiao said that he was in the alley. Yanran didn't hesitate and rushed into the last alley. She rushed from the beginning to the end, but there was nothing in the alley. There were only a few trash cans at the bottom of the alley. And next to the trash cans. At this moment, a black cat was standing on a person's back, staring at Yanran. As soon as Yanran moved, the black cat seemed to be frightened. It quickly jumped down the steps it was stepping on and hid in the darkness of the alley. Yanran knew at a glance that it was Chow Xiao who was about to lie on the ground. Yanran had seen Chow Xiao's carefree and unrestrained appearance. She had also seen his crazy and embarrassed appearance. She had also seen his sloppy appearance, but she had never seen him so lifeless. The rain was getting heavier and heavier. The sky seemed to be leaking. Large basins of water poured down. They poured on Chow Xiao's body and poured into Yanran's heart. Yanran's face was wet. She didn't know whether it was the rain or her tears. She rushed to Chow Xiao's side. Only then did she see that there were 2 rats gnawing at his feet. The anger in the sky seemed to have found a breakthrough. Yanran's finger shot out a white light and directly turned the 2 rats into a pool of blood. She trembled and turned Chow Xiao around. She put her index finger under his nose. Fortunately, there was still a weak breath. Yanran's heart was put down. At this moment, she suddenly smiled. There was a smile in her tears. She used her spiritual power to wrap Chow Xiao's whole body. Only when treating people's injuries did she know how serious the other person's injuries were. Yen Ran had treated Xiao Zhao's injuries when she was training him before, but it was all in a short time. But this time, she needed to use all the spiritual power in her body to connect every bone in Xiao Zhao's body. There were several times during the process that she was so heartbroken that she couldn't continue, because she sensed that every bone in his body was broken. The rain was getting heavier. The two people, one sitting and one lying down, healed in the rain until midnight. At 3 o'clock in the morning, Uncle Wu's phone rang. "Uncle Wu, we're at #####. Please send a car to pick us up." Yenron's voice was much weaker over the phone. Uncle Wu quickly rushed over. He had personally driven here. He knew that something must have happened. But when he saw Xiao Zhao's miserable appearance, he immediately sobbed, "Young master, what happened to you? Why are there so many misfortunes? How many times have you been injured recently? How am I going to explain this to master and the others?" "Uncle Wu, let's not talk about this for now. Let's send Xiao Xiao home first," Yen Ran interrupted Uncle Wu's crying. "Miss Yen Ran, shouldn't we send him to the hospital?" "No. The hospital can't treat his internal injuries. I'll treat him. I've already seen him. His external injuries aren't very serious. When we get back, I'll have to trouble Uncle Wu to disinfect and apply medicine to his wounds," Yen Ran said tiredly. Okay. Let's go home first." Uncle Wu wiped his tears and helped Yen Ran get Xiao Xiao into the car. After returning home, Yen Ran asked for a guest room and fell asleep immediately. Uncle Wu cleaned up Xiao Xiao and changed into his pajamas. However, he still didn't wake up. Uncle Wu was anxious. He wanted to ask Yen Ran, but he didn't want to disturb her sleep. So, he stayed by Xiao Zhao's side the whole time. It rained all night. The weather only cleared up slightly the next morning. The rain gradually stopped, but Xiao Xiao still didn't wake up. Yen Ran woke up early in the morning. She had already mostly recovered. She treated Xiao Zhao's injuries again and found that he was much better. "Uncle Wu, I'll have to trouble you to take care of him at home today. I'll ask for a day off for him." "Thank you, Miss Yen Ran. If the young master wakes up, I'll call you immediately. He has some external injuries. Uncle Wu, remember to disinfect and apply medicine to him regularly today. I'll treat his internal injuries when I come back from school in the afternoon." After giving instructions, Yen Ran went home first, took her school bag and went back to school. She returned to the alley where she found Xiao Xiao again. She wanted to find some clues, but after a night of rain, there was nothing left. Yen Ran was unwilling to give up. She must find out what happened yesterday. Chapter 84. During the lunch break, Yen Ran went to the milk tea shop opposite the school. Usually, Xiao Xiao would be waiting for her here. They all knew the girl inside. Seeing Yen Ran come in, the girl greeted her enthusiastically. "What would you like to drink today?" "I'm not ordering milk tea. I want to ask if Xiao Xiao stayed here for a long time yesterday?" "Ah yes, he bought 2 cups yesterday. He waited for a long time and went out halfway. When he came back, he had already finished 1 cup. He said that the other cup was cold, so he bought another one." "Did he say where he was going?" "He didn't say anything, but she heard him mumble something about the boss not running away when he saw him." Yen Ran wondered when there was a boss who would run away when he saw him. Who was it? Her mind raced. After thinking for a while, she finally remembered that a few days ago in the first year of high school, they seemed to have worked together to deal with someone called Boss Huang. After she knew what to do, she walked directly to the internet cafe next door. "Boss, call Boss Huang for me and tell him that I have a good order for him. He must come in person." Then, Yen Ran leaned against the door of the internet cafe, motionless, her eyes cold. The boss of the internet cafe didn't dare to talk to her at all. He hurriedly replied, Okay, I'll call right away." About 20 minutes later, Boss Huang came over with 2 of his men. Before entering the internet cafe, he shouted loudly, "Boss, what's so good about the order? You still thought of me. It's not easy." Yenran watched Boss Huang and the others rush into the internet cafe. She didn't stop them. She saw that they were all injured and covered in gauze. The boss of the internet cafe pointed. "It's not my order. It's that girl's order." "Girl? A girl is actually looking for me. It seems that my luck with women is here." Boss Huang smiled wretchedly. When he walked to the door, he was stunned and his eyes widened. His lips trembled slightly. He only had time to say one sentence: "Run." Then, as if a tiger was chasing him, he quickly ran into an alley. Yenran wasn't in a hurry either. She sneered and said, "Wait for me in front." Then, she slowly followed Boss Huang's footsteps. Boss Huang ran a few steps. Hearing Yenran's words, he didn't dare to run anymore. He could only stand there and watch as Yenran approached him step by step. Yenran was about 10 steps away from him. He suddenly ran back a few steps and knelt down with a thud. "Heroine, please spare my life. I didn't do it yesterday. After we were beaten by Brother Chow, we left. We don't even know what happened after that." Boss Huang began to weep and complain tearfully. "You left after being beaten up. How do you know what happened after that?" Yenron's voice had already dropped to the freezing point. "I really don't know. Later on, I also heard from my subordinate that he secretly saw it. Because the scene was particularly scary, he came back and told me." Boss Huang continued to cry. "It really has nothing to do with me. Yesterday, I was beaten up by Brother Chow. Now, my whole body still hurts. What exactly happened? Tell me clearly bit by bit." "Yesterday, there was a little kid in school. His father owed us money, so we went to stop his son. We wanted to take his son back and let his father pay the money back. But we happened to run into Chow Shao. He saw injustice on the road and pulled out his knife to help. We had to go back. But on the way, we met our new boss. He knew about it and scolded us, saying that he must help us get back at him. Then, he insisted that we take him to Chow Shao. And then..." Yenron's voice was so cold that Boss Huang trembled all over. "It really has nothing to do with me. I beg you, please spare me. It was our new boss. He forced us to go to Chow Shao. We had no choice but to send one of our subordinates to snatch the phone from Chow Zhao's hand. Then, he led him to the side alley. Then, our boss said that he wanted to teach him a lesson, so we fought. But we were all at a disadvantage. So many of us couldn't beat him. We were beaten until we cried for our parents. We all fell to the ground and couldn't get up. Then, I told the new boss that we couldn't beat Chow Shao, so we should retreat. Then, our boss scolded us for being useless and drove us all away. And then what happened? I really don't know what happened after that. I had already left. Later, I heard from one of my subordinates that he happened to be on the roof of another house. When he looked down, he could see the situation in the alley. The new boss seemed to be standing face to face with Chow Shao. I don't know who cast a spell, but Chow Shao began to vomit blood. His whole body seemed to be beaten. The sound of bones breaking could be heard from afar. It was very horrifying. In the end, after a long time, that subordinate didn't dare to move until the new boss left. Chow Shao fell to the ground and fainted. Then, we don't know. I really don't know anything. I really didn't do it. I beg you. Boss Huang began to kowtow non-stop. Who is the new boss? He's really new. He said his surname is Fong and his name is Master Fong. He was also transferred to another area by our former boss. Yesterday was the first time we met him. But I haven't seen him until today. Where can I find him? I really don't know. I only have his phone. Give me his phone. Okay. I'll give it to you right away. Heroine, this really has nothing to do with me. Please don't implicate me. Boss Huang gave the phone number to Yenran. Then he asked carefully, Heroine, is young Master Chow okay? It's not clear whether he's okay or not. If he's not okay, you'll be buried with him. Boss Huang fell to the ground. From today on, he would go home and pray that nothing happened to Xiao Xiao. Otherwise, his life would be in danger. Yanran found a public phone and called that phone, but she didn't expect it to be a dead number. The clue was broken. This matter was very strange. Why did a new boss suddenly come, beat Xiao Xiao up, and then disappear? Then, Yanran called Boss Huang and told him to tell her immediately if there was news of their boss. Boss Huang nodded and bowed. Then, Boss Huang also called the new boss, Master Fang, but it was a dead number. Damn, please don't be a trap. He was trapped in this trap as well. Yanran roughly knew the cause and effect. As for what happened after, she still had to wait for Xiao Xiao to wake up to figure it out. The dark clouds in the sky were like Mount Tai. Layer upon layer, they floated in the air like monsters bearing their fangs and brandishing their claws. Last night's rainstorm washed the entire road clean. The fresh little trees on the side of the road were like stubborn backs that would never admit defeat, ready to fight the monsters at any time. Yanran wasn't called Iceberg Yen for nothing. At this time, she was sitting in a taxi. Her lips were tightly pursed, and her eyes were as cold as knives. She was looking out of the window without focus. The taxi driver was a middle-aged man. He glanced at Yanran through the rearview mirror, but he was frozen solid by the coldness around her. "I say, little girl, what's wrong with you? Did something happen? Why are you so cold? In life, there are always some things that don't go your way. Didn't people say that it was most likely? You have to make yourself happy. Like you're in the prime of your life. You still have a long way to go." The middle-aged driver wanted to enlighten Yanran, but he immediately swallowed his words when he saw Yanran's glare. The middle-aged driver didn't dare to speak anymore. Watching the cold girl get out of the car and leave, he couldn't help but shake his head. Are all the young people nowadays so unique? Like a barrel of dynamite, exploding at the slightest touch. Yanran's face was dark. She knocked on Xiao Xiao's door and went upstairs. She found that Xiao Xiao was still sleeping. "Uncle Wu, did Xiao Xiao wake up?" "I woke up once in the middle of it. I drank some water and ate some food. My whole body hurt and I couldn't sleep for a long time. I tossed and turned for a long time before I fell asleep again." Uncle Wu wiped his tears as he spoke. Uncle Wu, you go rest for a while. I'll sit with him for a while and treat his injuries." Uncle Wu gave Yanran some space. Yanran was already exhausted after using so much energy continuously. However, she didn't care about her own body at all. She only wanted to treat Xiao Xiao as soon as possible. She gathered the spiritual power around her and tore the void with her hands. The entire space seemed to be torn into a black hole. Then, Yanran waved her hands and weaved a seal. With a flick of her index finger, a stream of air flowed toward the black hole. This stream of air was like a primer, slowly rotating the air in the black hole. The speed gradually increased from slow to fast and gradually formed a vortex, as if sucking everything in the world into it. An expert in the virtualized realm was indeed different. This was a whole mountain higher than Zishuan's realm. The spiritual energy at the bottom of the mountain and at the top of the mountain couldn't be compared. Yanran stretched out her slender jade-like hand into the black hole and made a grabbing motion. Her hand seemed to have magical powers, causing the spiritual power to swirl around the vortex in the black hole a few times. Then, she pulled outwards, and a thick layer of spiritual power was pulled out by her. A flat layer of spiritual power spread over Xiao Xiao's entire body, as if covering Xiao Xiao from head to toe with a quilt. At this time, Yanran was slowly stroking the quilt, guiding the spiritual power into Xiao Xiao's limbs, bones, and pores. After the broken bones were barely reconnected, she continued to polish them until all the burrs were removed and they were restored to their original appearance. Soon, the layer of spiritual energy was completely absorbed by Xiao Xiao. Yanran pulled out another blanket from the black hole and covered him with it. Then, she continued to treat his injuries. Just like this, she continued to pour spiritual energy into his body. Every inch of his bones grew again. Even the little tadpoles in his brain began to gradually become active. When Xiao Xiao was injured, they also fainted from the pressure of the entire space. Now, their brains were suddenly filled with a large amount of spiritual energy. It was simply heaven for them. It allowed them to grow and mature again in heaven. It also allowed them to prepare in advance for greater pressure in the future. Chapter 85. It was already late at night. Darkness shrouded the land. The street lamps seemed to have been hidden in the darkness and were not very obvious. In this darkness, there were layers of dark clouds that came with the rain. They were getting thicker and thicker. When it was late at night, they could not bear the weight of the downpour and directly fell from the sky. The rain was getting heavier and heavier. The raindrops pitter-pattered against the windowsill, creating large splashes. The cries of small animals that could be heard occasionally in the middle of the night were now installed with silencers. Only the sound of raindrops could be heard in the entire world. However, even such a heavy rain did not wake up the two people who were sleeping soundly in the house. The person on the bed had a handsome face like a god's pen. It was skillful and flawless. He had been sleeping for nearly an entire day. After healing his injuries, he could finally sleep a little better. However, his brows were still knitted. There was something that made him very uncomfortable. The heavy rain outside brought a strong wind. There was a crash, as if a billboard outside had been blown to the ground. It was this sound that startled the peerless man lying on the bed. At this time, his eyelashes trembled slightly as if there were signs of waking up. There was another woman lying on the sofa beside his bed. She was covered with a thin blanket, so she should not be cold. The air conditioning in the room was suitable. The figure under the thin blanket was thin. The face exposed outside the blanket was beautiful. At this time, it was as calm as water. She withdrew her aura and was quiet like a little sister next door. At this time, it was like a water lily quietly blooming beside the bed. After Xiao Xiao woke up on the bed, his eyelashes trembled. He wanted to move his body, but when he moved slightly, hiss! Why is it still so painful? Previously, there was a burst of pain that made him faint. Later, he gradually felt numb. It seemed that his pain tolerance was still good. It would be fine once he got used to it. However, now that the initial pain had returned, Xiao Xiao could not help but cry out. This cry was not loud, but it woke up Yanran on the sofa. "How are you?" "Xiao Xiao, you're awake." Xiao Xiao looked at Yanran's surprised expression and nodded at her. Then, he pointed to his body and showed a painful and aggrieved expression. He choked out a hoarse word from his throat. "It hurts." "I know it hurts the most right now, but it'll be fine after tonight. Yesterday, all the bones in your body were crushed. Later, I used my spiritual power to help you reconnect them. Now, your bones are in the process of growing again. Just bear with it. It will be over soon." Yanran comforted him. "You're always the one who comes to save me. This time, it's you again. Does it matter if you don't go home?" Xiao Xiao spoke very slowly. He looked at the sky and knew that it was already very late. "It's okay. I told my family that I have a mission today." Yanran lowered her head. Lying was not her strong suit. "Always making you lie for me, it's been hard on you," Xiao Xiao said slowly and closed his eyes in exhaustion. Yanran poured a glass of water from the side, held Xiao Xiao's head up, and fed him a little. "Do you still have the strength to speak? Can you tell me what's going on?" Xiao Xiao recovered a little. "I also feel that this matter is very strange. Logically speaking, Boss Huang and his gang wouldn't have such great abilities. That day, I acted bravely for a just cause, and in the end, I fell into their trap. They sent someone to snatch my phone away. In order to get my phone back, I was blocked in the alley by them. I didn't expect another boss to come. That boss is very powerful. He directly used his spiritual pressure to kill me." "He's a cultivator? You can tell?" "Yes. There's a purple aura above his head. He should be a Zishuan expert. I'm curious. How did you righteous cultivators get together with Boss Huang and his gang? I went to investigate later. This person is pretending to be their boss. It's also the first time Boss Huang saw him. Now that we've lost contact, this person must be an imposter. Yanran told Xiao Xiao what she knew. This is too strange. I haven't offended anyone. Why would someone specifically target me? Xiao Xiao leaned on the bed and closed his eyes. He racked his brains but still couldn't figure it out. I have a small guess, but I'm not sure. Grandpa asked me to remove the demonic aura in you. I reported to him that I've completed the task. I guess he sent someone to check on you. Because in Grandpa's heart, you're a dangerous person. Yanran, how can your grandpa be so unable to distinguish right from wrong? He's not as clear as you. Even so, why did he use such a method to test me? Yanran was silent. She didn't know why it was like this. If you didn't save me, would I have been notified by the police that a male corpse was found in the alley of Nanchuan High School? No, Yanran said anxiously. I won't let you die. Xiao Xiao glanced at Yanran. Except for you, the whole human race wants me dead. No, don't think too much. Then, did you reveal any demonic aura when you fought with him this time? Yanran asked carefully. She could see that Xiao Xiao was in low spirits. No, my spirit concealment spell has broken through to level 5. At the critical moment, I used demonic aura to protect my heart meridian. That Zishuan expert shouldn't be able to see it. That's good. As long as you don't reveal any demonic aura, I believe they won't bother you in the future. Won't they find it strange? Why didn't they kill me? You don't have to worry about that. I'll say that I saved you. I'm sorry, Xiao Xiao. Yanran apologized to Xiao Xiao on behalf of her grandfather. You don't have to apologize. You saved me. It's only right that I return this life to you. I'm apologizing on behalf of my grandfather. I don't know why the cultivation world is so persistent. Maybe they want to protect humans. They're afraid that you'll eventually be corrupted by the demonic aura, so they want to kill the demonic aura in the cradle. Demonic aura and evil aura are two different kinds. I came from the devil realm. It's an unchangeable fact that I carry demonic aura. It's just that whether he will be corrupted or not depends on his luck. Just like you cultivators, no matter how good you are at cultivation, there will still be people who will be corrupted. If one day my demonic aura turns into evil aura, you can attack me directly. This is not what I want. Since ancient times, it's difficult to distinguish between good and evil. Yanran saw that Xiao Xiao was getting more and more tired. His eyes were already closed. She didn't say anything more. She directly supported Xiao Xiao to sleep. Don't think too much about it. Take care of your body first. After tonight's pain passes, you should be fine by tomorrow. With that, Yanran used her spiritual power to massage Xiao Xiao's whole body. Xiao Xiao finally fell asleep again. Yanran also returned to her sofa. The Zishuan expert that Xiao Xiao mentioned, Director Fang, was now listening to the report of the suppression of evil. Recently, there have been many incidents of gangsters bullying students at the school gate. The police have increased the patrol force and caught several repeat offenders. The police representative was reporting the progress. Are there any vicious incidents of violence? I haven't heard about that. It's mainly robbery or beating people up, but there are no serious injuries. Director Fang was a bit surprised that Xiao Zhao's case hadn't been exposed. Are there any similar cases around Nanchuan High School, a key city high school? Nanchuan High School surroundings are very safe. The quality of the students in the key city is also relatively high. Those gangsters don't dare to cause trouble. There's only one gangster around, led by Boss Huang. We've already warned him. He's a regular at our police station. Strange. Logically speaking, Xiao Zhao's injuries were so serious that he should be the focus of the news after being sent to the hospital. Director Fang knew that although he was heavy-handed, Xiao Xiao wouldn't die. To be able to endure until someone sent him to the hospital Could it be that someone saved him? Director Fong's mind spun rapidly. He sorted out his thoughts and quickly came to a conclusion. It should be Yen Ran. There was only one cultivator around him, Yen Ran. Could it be that Yen Ran just happened to bump into him? Or that their relationship was very good? Logically speaking, Yen Ran was a guardian. When she saw someone injured, it was understandable that she took the initiative to treat him. However, Director Fong was a bit worried that he might have given himself away. Elder Yen, are you free? I'll report the progress of the matter to you in person. Director Fong directly called Elder Yen and asked him to come out to meet him. Director Fong's identity was hidden among the southern aristocratic families. He usually only listened to Elder Yen, and only Elder Yen knew his identity. Director Fong had no reason to go to Elder Yan's house. However, it was normal for them to meet in public. The two arranged to meet at a tea house. This tea house was relatively remote and famous for its seclusion. Those who entered this tea house were all regular customers. They each booked a table in 2 private rooms next to each other. The private rooms had good soundproofing. There was a small passage outside the private rooms with 2 tables and chairs. It was for people who temporarily made a phone call at the door of the private room. Next to each of the 2 seats was a half wall, separating the seats in the 2 private rooms from each other. The two followed a group of people to the private rooms to eat. Halfway through the meal, Director Fong and Elder Yen walked to the corridor outside the private rooms at the same time. They pretended to make a phone call and then sat down to rest. Director Fong, hello. Elder Yen took the initiative to greet him. Elder Yen? Long time no see. How are you? The two chatted for a long time with smiles on their faces. They pretended to meet by chance and sat down. I'll have to trouble you to take care of Yen Ran, Director Fong. You're welcome. Yen Ran is so excellent. She's the pride of our district. In the beginning, the conversation between the two of them was rather loud. Because they were just exchanging pleasantries and laughing from time to time, the two of them didn't pay attention to the chairs next to them. Because of the obstruction, they didn't even notice that there was a young man sitting on the other side of the pillar. At first, the young man just sat there to rest and was about to make a phone call. Before he dialed the number, he suddenly heard Yen Ran's name from the other side of the room. He put away the phone and pricked up his ears. It seemed that Yen Ran's grandfather was talking to another person. This was a good opportunity. He could visit Yen Ran's grandfather later. It turned out that the young man was Hua Gang, who came to drink tea with his parents. Chapter 86. In the beginning, Elder Yen and Director Fong were talking loudly. After the greetings, they both lowered their voices. But because Hua Gang was very close, he couldn't block the sound at all. Elder Yen, I've done what you asked me to do. After several tests, I found that Xiao Zhao's evil energy is indeed gone. Hua Gang was shocked. How could Xiao Zhao's evil energy be gone? Why would Yen Ran's grandfather discuss this with this person? They were quite secretive. Could it be that this matter couldn't be told? Why would Yen Ran's grandfather notice Xiao Zhao? A series of questions hovered in Hua Gang's mind. He held his breath and eavesdropped carefully. Director Fong recounted the detailed process of his test to Elder Yen bit by bit. First, he provoked him verbally at school. He controlled himself and didn't resist. Then, at the school gate, Xiao Zhao saved a child who was almost hit by an electric car. Finally, he disguised himself as a gang boss and beat him up. He was seriously injured, but he still didn't emit any evil energy. Elder Yen listened carefully. During this period, he kept asking some questions, mainly about Xiao Zhao's reaction and details. The last key question was Xiao Zhao still alive? He's alive. I'm guessing that Yen Ran saved him. Because after I heard him that day, Xiao Zhao wasn't sent to the hospital, and the police didn't receive a report. As for how he's recovering now, I don't know. With Yen Ran's help, he shouldn't die. Your granddaughter is indeed a bodhisattva. Yen Ran is like this. She has a strong sense of justice. She told me that she removed Qiao Zhao's evil energy herself. I can also understand that she saved him after the incident to protect the human race. It seems that Qiao Zhao's matter has been resolved. Thank you for your hard work, Director Fong. Elder Yen, you're too polite. I'm your subordinate. If you need anything, just tell me. The two of them seemed to have finished their conversation and returned to their respective private rooms. From beginning to end, they did not realize that someone was eavesdropping on them. At this time, Hua Gang's heart was in turmoil. He didn't expect that Qiao Zhao's matter had already alarmed Elder Yen. Just now, when they said that Yen Ran had removed Qiao Zhao's tacit understanding, he did not believe a word of it. He really wanted to rush up to Elder Yen and tell him that Yen Ran couldn't remove his evil qi. However, his legs seemed to be nailed to the ground. If he rushed out now, Elder Yen might kill him. Obviously, he was hiding from the other person. At this time, Hua Gang had given up the idea of greeting Elder Yen. Instead, he needed to figure out who was meeting with Elder Yen. Just now, when he saw the man's silhouette walk into one of the private rooms, he felt that the man was familiar, but he couldn't remember who he was. So he said goodbye to his parents and secretly hid in a corner. When the man walked out of the private room again, he took a photo of him. Elder Yen didn't stay here after dinner. He and Director Fong didn't say goodbye to each other and left directly. Hua Gang also hurried back home. The first thing he did was to upload the photo to the internet and start to compare faces. He guessed right. This was a public figure, Director Fong of the District Education Bureau. He really didn't expect that he had such a hidden identity. There was no such person on the list of practitioners. It seemed that he was a chess piece hidden in the world by Elder Yen. Hua Gang rubbed the mouse. It would be a pity if he didn't make good use of such an important hidden figure. It seemed that Qiao Xiao had been targeted by Elder Yen. Then he could add fuel to the fire. How could it be so easy to remove the evil qi? Elder Yen was so naive that he believed Yenran's words. Hua Gang saw clearly that Yenran was so protective of Qiao Xiao that she didn't want to hurt him at all. Removing the evil qi was more than hurting the tendons and bones. It was like peeling off a layer of skin. Yenran, all your thoughts now revolve around Qiao Xiao. You even started to deceive the organization. You really let me down. Recently, Yenran avoided Hua Gang as much as possible. She didn't allow him to look for her in the school or pick her up at the school gate. Hua Gang looked for opportunities to ask her out for dinner and chat with her. Yenran never had time. Only when they talked about business, Yenran would do business. But that alienation was like a saw, pulling Hua Gang's heart. He looked in the mirror. Was it because he was not as handsome as Qiao Xiao? Qiao Xiao looked like a rogue. He was obviously a playboy. He was not a good match at all. Only a mature and steady man like himself, who was dead set on Yenran, would be the best partner in the future. Hua Gang looked at himself in the mirror, with a calculating and cold expression in his eyes. After a few days of rain, the sun finally shone on the earth again. A few birds were singing happily on the branches outside Qiao Zhao's villa. Qiao Xiao could finally get out of bed and eat. Today, Uncle Wu made a big bone soup for him. Yenran told me that you must drink 3 bowls. Uncle Wu placed 3 big bowls in front of Qiao Xiao. Uncle Wu, look at my perfect figure. I don't even have a stomach. Where do you think this soup is? Qiao Xiao drank a big bowl with difficulty. There were still 2 bowls left. If he drank more, he would be stuffed to death. Yenran told me that you must finish it. Uncle Wu ignored Qiao Zhao's complaints. Yenran was his master now. Uncle Wu, what kind of curse did Yenran cast on you? Why do you always listen to her? I am your young master. Qiao Xiao continued to complain with a bitter face. Yenran did it for your own good. Uncle Wu continued to persuade him patiently. When did she leave yesterday? I was in a daze for the past 2 days. Yenran came quite late yesterday. It was almost 9 o'clock. She should have left at around 1 o'clock after treating your injuries. Uncle Wu, do you think we should prepare a room for Yenran? I think she likes to come to our house. It would be too tiring for her to go back and forth. She can just stay here. She was treating your injuries. I have already prepared a guest room for her. But she said that she wanted to observe your movements at all times, so she could only sleep on the sofa. Hearing Wu Bo's words, Qiao Xiao felt sweet in his heart. Uncle Wu, do you think Yenran is very good to me? Of course. Young master, Miss Yenran has saved your life several times. I don't think you have anything to repay her, so you can repay her with your body. Qiao Xiao suddenly spat out the soup in his mouth. Wu, Uncle Wu, what nonsense are you talking about? Qiao Xiao's ears turned red. I'm telling the truth. Young master, when you're a little older, remember to propose to Miss Yenran. Don't let such an excellent girl be taken away by others. If you get sick or injured again, there will be no one to treat you anymore. Uncle Wu, are you asking me to find a wife or a doctor? You are treating Yenran as our family doctor. I see that Miss Yenran is devoted to you. She is really good to you. You can't let her down. Our house is big and rich. We can definitely make Miss Yenran happy. Okay. Uncle Wu, I know what to do. This time, there was no need for Uncle Wu to urge him. Qiao Xiao picked up the 2 big bowls and gulped down the soup. Uncle Wu's words seemed to have touched the bottom of his heart, making him a little nervous. It seemed that his thoughts had been seen through. He just wanted to quickly finish the soup and return to his room. After the attack from the Master Zishuan, Qiao Xiao was even more eager to become stronger. Now, he had to think of a way to not reveal his devil qi, and at the same time, resist the destruction of these human cultivators. He plunged into the room on the 2nd floor, took out all the books from before and flipped through them again. After reading it 100 times, its meaning would be revealed. After this ordeal with Qiao Xiao, the little tadpoles in his mind had leveled up again. The spirit concealment technique was divided into 9 levels. Qiao Xiao's current level should be around level 5. At the highest level of level 9, it was impossible to tell if you were hiding devil energy or spirit energy in your body. He had broken through from level 4 to level 5 with great difficulty. As long as he didn't use devil energy, others wouldn't be able to see it. Now it seemed that this was far from enough. What he needed was to be able to use devil energy without others being able to see it. He carefully studied the spirit concealment technique thoroughly. The little tadpoles in his mind also discovered the secret. Only level 6 and above could reach the standard that Qiao Xiao wanted. It seemed that the road ahead was long and difficult. Qiao Xiao sighed. He didn't know if he would be as lucky next time. Yenran couldn't be by his side all the time. He still needed to be able to protect himself. If he recovered more or less today, he would have to go to school tomorrow. He had already taken many days off. He suddenly remembered that when the director of the Education Bureau came to investigate that day, he also asked him to write a self-criticism for sleeping in class. Although the principal later exempted him from the self-criticism under the national flag, he still had to submit a paper copy. He sighed again. He had sighed too much recently. He took out a pen and paper and obediently began to write the self-criticism. He recalled that day when Director Fong of the Education Bureau pointed at him and scolded him on the stage. If it wasn't for Yenran desperately holding him down, he would have already started to quarrel with him. As he wrote, his eyes suddenly turned cold as if he had thought of something. He immediately called Yenran. Yenran, do you know if Director Fong of the Education Bureau is a cultivator like you? I'm not sure. Do you know what I thought of? I suddenly remembered that this Director Fong's figure was very similar to the person who attacked me that day. Do you think it's possible? Yenran was silent for a while and didn't speak. Seeing that Yenran didn't answer him, Qiao Xiao scratched his head. Okay, don't think too much. I'm still writing the self-criticism. It was only when I wrote the self-criticism that I remembered Director Fong's appearance. I'll hang up first. Qiao Xiao finished speaking and wanted to hang up. Yenran seemed to come back to her senses. Wait a minute. Is what you said true? Do they really look alike? Yes, they really do. Okay, I know. I'll investigate. Rest well first. You have to go to school tomorrow. Yenran said a few more words before hanging up the phone. Xiao Xiao listened to Yenran's words of concern and felt sweet in his heart. Yenran was treating him better and better now. It seemed that he really had to consider what Uncle Wu said. Chapter 87. The winter sun shone on their bodies, making them feel warm and comfortable. After resting at home for a few days, Xiao Xiao finally stepped into school today. He obediently put on his school uniform. His model-like figure made the ordinary uniform look especially stylish. He didn't want to be left out, so he unzipped his school uniform. As he strode forward, the lapels of his uniform were slightly opened, giving him the feeling of a windbreaker. Because of cultivation, Xiao Xiao didn't feel the intense cold anymore. Instead, the colder the weather, the cooler he felt. It was as if there was a fire in his heart that automatically flowed to his limbs and bones, warming his meridians. Spirit Concealment Technique Level 5, the world's #1 Spirit Technique Level 5. When would it reach Level 9? Currently, Xiao Xiao's body could automatically circulate and cultivate these two techniques at any time. However, all cultivation required an opportunity. Only when the opportunity arrived could he continue to level up. Currently, what Xiao Xiao needed to do was to absorb more spirit energy. Brother Xiao, you're finally here. We missed you to death when you weren't here for the past few days. Zhang Deong greeted him as soon as he entered the classroom. Brother Xiao, I can prove that he really missed you. He saw your news on Cheba every day. I think he has a crush on you. Ma Xiaoxian secretly said the last sentence. Don't talk nonsense. Brother Xiao is my Prince Charming. I'm not worthy of him. Zhang Deong glanced at Xiao Xiao and laughed foolishly. Zhang Deong, don't make a fuss. I've never heard of a man entering Brother Xiao's harem. Little Juchi also came over to join in the fun. It's popular to have 2 harems now. This was written in a novel I read recently. I think it makes sense. With Brother Xiao's looks, talent, and ability, only a harem can satisfy all of his needs. Ma Xiaoxian didn't mind talking nonsense. Xiao Xiao was amused by their teasing. It's only been a few days since I last saw you, and you've become so eloquent. Brother Xiao, where did you go? You suddenly went missing and asked for leave, which made us very worried about you. Did anything happen? Xiao Xiao lowered his head and raised it again. He gave everyone a big smile. I'll go out and learn something new. Wow, Brother Xiao, did you learn a new skill again? Show us some other day. Wen Jing liked to talk about her studies. I just learned how to program. You can learn this in the future too. Xiao Xiao simply started to fabricate nonsense. That's too difficult. Brother Xiao, we might not be able to catch up to you even if we tried for a few lifetimes. We can only look up to you. Miao Tong Tong also joined their discussion. No matter what, Brother Xiao is back. We have more motivation to study. Wang Jinyun worshipped Xiao Xiao. You guys don't know. These few days when Xiao Xiao wasn't in school, even the Cheba was a lot quieter. It made our life in school so boring that only studying was left. Ma Xiaoxian added. After all this time, you guys live by reading my gossip all day. Xiao Xiao angrily knocked Ma Xiaoxuan's head. Ma Xiaoxian laughed twice. That's right, Brother Xiao. If you don't believe me, you can take a look. There'll definitely be news about you today. Sure enough, someone created a Xiao Xiao's daily life in the Cheba. Today, someone recorded the moment Xiao Xiao entered school like a diary. Waves with you. Brother Xiao disappeared for a few days and finally appeared again. His looks seemed to have gone up another level. Zhou Qiao. You mean Brother Xiao went for plastic surgery? Sand sculpture crossing the river. Brother Xiao is a natural sculpture, a stroke of genius. The world's scalpel is nothing in front of him. Walking snow, look at this school uniform. Why does it look so elegant on Brother Chow? Pandora's Box. Walking with Wind, Moving Hormones. Brother Chow put away his phone with satisfaction. This group of people was as cute as ever. He could clearly feel a trace of spiritual energy surging towards him. There should be new people who had become his fans. It seemed that he had to expand his circle of friends to attract more people. Yenran walked into the classroom. She was as cold as ever, as clean and beautiful as a snow lotus on Tian Shan Mountain. Chow Xiao went up to her and took the initiative to help her take her bag. He helped her pull out a chair and waited for her to sit down. Then, he clenched his hands into small fists and hammered her shoulders. Yenran leaned to the side to avoid his two small fists. What's wrong? One who is unaccountably solicitous is hiding evil intentions. Yenran said faintly. What? I see that you've been working hard. Look, the smoky makeup is coming out again. Isn't this letting you relax? Chow Xiao smiled like a spoiled little puppy. Yenran rolled her eyes at him. It's just 1 o'clock and you're talking nonsense again. After that, she ignored him and took out a book to read. Chow Xiao hit a soft rebuff, but he didn't care. He sat at the back and propped his head up with a hand, smiling as he looked at the little white bun on Yenran's head. The more he looked, the cuter she was. He thought about what Uncle Wu had said to him. Yenran was so good. She was kind, capable, and beautiful. There must be a lot of people who had their eyes on her. He couldn't let her run away. Suddenly, a hand appeared in front of him, blocking his view. He looked up and saw that it was Zhang Deong. Brother Chow, this is the first time I've seen you so infatuated. Come back. What are you looking at? What's on top of Yenron's head? I can't see anything. Chow Xiao waved his hand away. What do you know? That's my future. My hope. Your future? Your hope is on top of Yenron's head? Zhang Deong didn't understand the situation at all. Yenran turned around. What's wrong with you? Chow Xiao immediately smiled flatteringly. No, Yenran, you do your homework. I'll be in a daze. Zhang Deong's eyeballs were about to fall out. He had never seen such a humble Chow Xiao. Chow Xiao was usually a peerless handsome man who wanted to brag to space. Brother Chow, are you possessed? Zhang Deong was scared and hid back. What nonsense are you talking about? Your brother Chow has found a new direction in life. You won't understand even if I tell you. Let's go to class. Chow Xiao was secretly happy in his heart. Yenran listened to Chow Xiao's inexplicable words. She didn't know what to think. She was now wondering who Zixuan, who looked like Director Fong, was. She knew everyone in the organization, but only a few knew Zixuan. She eliminated them one by one. She felt that no one could have interacted with Chow Xiao. Could it be someone from another family? Yenran remembered the secret letter her grandfather got from the Eastern family. Could it be that he saw that the Southern family didn't make a move, so he sent his own master? Logically speaking, it shouldn't be. How could his hand stretch so far? After all, this was the territory of the Southern family. The clues seemed to be cut off, but there were still some clues. Huagang was very busy today. Since he found the relevant information on the internet, he began to carry out his tracking plan. After school, he came to the entrance of the Education Bureau in full gear. It was also a coincidence that Director Fong didn't have any activities today. He got off work at 6 o'clock sharp. His house was very close to the Education Bureau, so he didn't take a car. He directly walked home, which made it very convenient for Huagang. Huagang slowly followed behind him. He found that Director Fong went to the market to buy groceries first. He didn't rush home, but went to a park behind the community. It turned out that his nanny was standing there playing with his grandson. He came to call them home for dinner. His grandson was about 3 or 4 years old. He was a boy. When Director Fong saw his grandson, he showed a smile from the bottom of his heart. He handed the groceries to the nanny and put his grandson in his arms. He kissed his face repeatedly and then began to play with him. Because of the cold weather, the little guy's face was already a little red. He turned his head and scolded the nanny. "Put some moisturizer on the little guy's face when you go out. Otherwise, the skin on his face will be blown dry in this cold weather." The nanny quickly agreed. Next to them, an aunt who also took care of a child said, "Director Fong, you really care about your grandson. You care about every little thing so carefully." "Of course. Now, every family only has one child. Our child is the treasure of our family. The whole family revolves around him." Director Fong answered with a big smile. "Your little guy is so smart. He's good-looking and has big eyes. People say that you can see old people at 3 years old. When he grows up, he'll win glory for you." The aunt's mouth was like honey, and she kept saying nice things. Director Fong was overjoyed. Come. I bought some braised food today. Take it back and add some dishes." After that, he asked the nanny to pass some of the braised food to the aunt. The auntie happily took it and said, "Director Fong, you're too polite. How can I accept this?" You're welcome. Take it. I bought a lot. Play with my grandson more in the future. Don't worry. If there's anything in the future, I'll help you look after it." The aunt also said happily. After the two of them finished chatting, Director Fong carried his grandson and went home with the nanny. He had been carrying his grandson all the way home. The nanny pushed the trolley and followed behind. "Director Fong, you really spoil this child too much. You're tired carrying him. Why don't you put him in the trolley and let me push him? This is the most relaxing time of the day. It's very tiring to work. Go home and play with my grandson. Take it as relaxing." Director Fong happily carried him all the way home. After he got home, Huagang wandered around the entrance of his neighborhood for a long time to observe the surroundings. Then, he returned to the park and pretended to sit there to rest. He chatted with the aunt from before. Huagang also pretended that he was a new resident of the neighborhood. Plus, he only picked up the good things and immediately won the aunt's trust. This aunt was also a chatterbox. She was still talking about Director Fong. This was exactly what Huagang wanted. Through chatting with this aunt, Huagang grasped the basic situation of Director Fong's family. He also knew that the family loved this grandson the most. He continued to indirectly ask about Director Fong's daily activities. The aunt told him everything, no matter how big or small. Director Fong is very busy at work, but as long as he's free, he'll accompany his grandson to wander around this park. They don't see each other often, but they always come on weekends. After getting the information he wanted, Huagang was considered to have completed his tracking task and returned to his home. At this time, a sinister plan gradually formed in his heart. Chapter 88. After school, Xiao Xiao wanted to ask Yen Ran to read together, but this time, Yen Ran rejected him directly. "I have something to do. Next time." Xiao Xiao pouted and looked at Yen Ran's back with melancholy. The little black bun in his heart could only lower his head dejectedly. He had to go to the library alone. Now, he had to find some ancient methods and find a way to improve his skills. He only had 2 skills now. One was a learned skill, the world's #1 spiritual skill. The second skill was spirit concealment, which could hide his demonic energy. However, if he were to encounter a real cultivator, how would he be able to fight against the other party? He knew nothing about this skill. The last time he fought with Huagang, he was completely suppressed by Huagang. He could kill a normal human like Boss Huang in a second, but if he met a real cultivator, he would only be beaten up. He looked all over at home but couldn't find a suitable method for him. The Hibiscus Manual should be a good cultivation book, but it mainly focused on cultivating spiritual power. There was not a single combat skill. He thought of going to Lu Hui's university library to have a look. He had already looked through the entire library, but there was nothing useful for his cultivation. "Brother Hui, what are you doing?" "I'm going to see you. I just finished class. You finally remembered to call me. I thought that you, my friend, valued your lover more than your friend and forgot about me. Lu Hui received a call from Xiao Xiao as soon as class ended. He was very happy. How can that be? What's there to value a lover over a friend? I'm just going to see you. Where are you? Did you come to our school? At the entrance of your university. I'll be in soon. Okay, I'll come and pick you up. Hey, remember to bring your university library card. I brought it. Now that I have a card, I can use anything with one card. See you later. Yanran rejected Xiao Zhao's invitation and went straight to the school gate to find Boss Huang again. Boss Huang's legs went soft at the sight of her. Heroine, please spare me. I've already said what I wanted to say last time. Why are you here again? Boss Huang's legs were trembling. Describe to me in detail what the boss looked like last time. Yanran said coldly. Heroine, we only found out later that our boss was arrested because he had committed a crime. The person that day must have been an imposter, causing us to do such a wrong thing. Please forgive me. Boss Huang continued to lower his head and admit defeat. I already knew that he was a fake. Tell me what he looks like. It would be best if you could draw a picture for me. Yanran threw him a pen and a stack of paper. Heroine, aren't you making things difficult for me? I haven't even graduated from primary school and I can't even write properly. What if I draw a big frog? Boss Huang said bitterly. Then tell me, I'll draw it. Yanran took the paper and pen over. He was probably a little taller than me, neither fat nor thin. He wore a cap that covered most of his face, and his voice was a little low. That's all. Boss Huang recalled for a long time. His ability to express himself was limited, so he could only come up with these few words. Were there any other features that were different from others? Yanran could only enlighten him bit by bit. I didn't notice that. Boss Huang scratched his head and then patted the head of his lackey next to him. Did you notice anything? If you did, report it to Heroine. I saw a mole on his right forearm. Anything else? His face should be square. Although he was wearing a cap, I could see that his chin was still a little wide. What clothes was he wearing? That day, he was wearing a black jacket, a pair of loose pants, and a pair of sneakers. He looked very ordinary. I know, he just didn't want us to recognize him. That bastard dared to lie to us. Boss Huang said through gritted teeth. We were used and we're counting money for him? So F** King unlucky. Heroine, please be magnanimous. Seeing that we were also cheated by others, can you spare us this time? Boss Huang began to cry and howl again. Yanran looked at them and couldn't get any more information. She directly warned them, next time, keep your eyes open and don't do such stupid things. Report to me immediately if there's any new news. Yes. Heroine, you're right. We won't dare to do it again. We'll report to you as soon as there's any news. Boss Huang finally sent Yanran away. He let out a long sigh and shouted to his lackeys, next time you see Heroine, take a detour. Don't fall into her hands again. After Xiao Xiao and Lu Hui met, they chatted about some recent things and walked to the library together. I didn't expect you to be so motivated now. Uncle Wu, do you think you've been brainwashed? Hee, I've been brainwashed. How are things with Yanran recently? Pretty good. It's just that sometimes she's hot and cold to me. Don't tell me you're in love? Lu Hui's eyes widened. I want to be in love, but Yanran doesn't care about me at all. Xiao Xiao said with a bitter face. What's wrong? You're such a handsome guy. Look at how many people have turned their heads to look at you while we're walking here. Yanran doesn't fall into your trap? Yanran is certainly different from other girls. She's like a snow lotus in the sky. She has the right to be cold and aloof. How can she be compared to a flower in the human world? Yo, can't you see? You were complaining about her before, but now you're worshipping her like this. Sigh, Yanran is good in every way. I really want to marry her. Xiao Xiao, you're in this situation too? There's someone you can't catch up to. Ha 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 ha. Lu Hui almost held his stomach and rolled on the ground. Now I can't catch up to her. I think the gap between us is too big. Didn't I ask you for help? Xiao Xiao continued to complain. Okay, let me help you chase her. As long as I can help, just ask. Lu Hui said while patting his chest. Can you lend me your library card today? There's no book in the library on how to chase girls. I want to see how to improve myself. I'll think of a way to chase girls. A scholar who has been away for 3 days must be looked at with new eyes. Xiao Xiao, you're the prince of the devil world. You can finally make progress. Xiao Xiao was a bit embarrassed. Sigh, I was too much of a playboy before. It's a bit too late to work hard now. I don't think it's too late. If you're willing to work hard, you'll definitely make rapid progress. With your brain that has been replaced, I'm waiting for you to create a miracle. You can read inside. I'll bring you dinner. Lu Hui very generously threw his card to Xiao Xiao and sent him into the library. Then he waved his hand and went to play basketball. Xiao Xiao looked at the building that was completely different from his school. He confidently went inside. The library had 6 floors. Xiao Xiao went straight to the ancient books. The further he went, the fewer people there were. It could be seen that the ancient books were not attractive to college students. But Xiao Xiao felt that the ancient books were like the top of a pyramid. Everyone was going up the pyramid. The higher you went, the narrower the road was. There were very few people who could reach the top, and there were even fewer people who were willing to study the ancient books. If he didn't have an urgent need to improve, he wouldn't have desperately tried to squeeze his way to the top. There were very few people who could reach the top. But these opportunities could only be encountered and not sought. It depended on whether the fated person could find a unique book left in the world. There were many unique books whose value had not been discovered by the world. It was very likely that they would be shelved. Xiao Xiao also wanted to try his luck. The ancient books were in the northernmost corner of the library. The more he went in, the more he felt a kind of simple wind blowing against his face. The books here were all thread-bound, and the pages and feet of the books were a bit yellow. Xiao Xiao casually took out a book. The dust on the book fell down. It seemed that no one often tidied up these books. No one even borrowed them. Xiao Xiao started reading from the first floor. He took out the books one by one and read them carefully. The little tadpoles in his brain were like they had been injected with chicken blood. They desperately put the knowledge in one room after another. Looking around, Xiao Xiao didn't see anyone. In order to speed up, he put 20 books on the ground. Then, he used his devil chi. The 20 books began to turn their pages at the same time. The entire 6th floor was silent. Only the sound of books turning could be heard. Xiao Xiao flipped through the 20 books in a short time. He took out 40 books and spread them on the ground. He amplified his devil chi and at the same time expanded the range of his vision so that his eyes could read 40 books at the same time. Because the reading speed was too fast, Xiao Xiao's attention was highly concentrated. He didn't notice that the dust raised by each book formed golden spots in the air. It was like the reflection of the sun's rays. It also seemed to form a book array. In a parallel space of the library on the 6th floor, a person was startled and opened his eyes. He had stayed in this space for tens of thousands of years. This group of ancient books was lucky to be gathered together. Because of the passage of time, the books slowly formed their own spiritual consciousness. Not far from the books, they opened up a space of their own. The spiritual consciousness could cultivate by itself. And because the ancient books passed through many hands and came to this library, the spiritual consciousness also followed the ancient books here. Xiao Xiao was really lucky. These ancient books were not all books of the human world. The history of the human world was not enough for tens of thousands of years. These were some of the treasures that were really left behind in the 6th session. And because they were obscure and difficult to understand, the shapes of the words were complicated. There was no one who could recognize them. Fortunately, human beings worshipped the ancient words without any bottom line, so they could be preserved until now. Qiao Zhao's speed was getting faster and faster. Soon, he had finished reading all the books on the first, second, and third floor. He had already sorted them into categories and put them in his mind. Qiao Zhao had a very good habit. Every time he finished reading a book, he would put it back in its original place. Except for the flying dust on the entire floor, no one could see any changes. The little tadpoles were excited as if they had been reborn again. Because in these books, they saw their former selves. These words were their former companions. Just like the dictionary they had read in the demon world before, they could only understand the words in it through translation. And this was the strength of these little tadpoles. Just as the little tadpoles were desperately absorbing and integrating the words, Qiao Zhao had already sat cross-legged and began to cultivate. But what he didn't expect was that a hole was suddenly torn in front of him, and someone pulled him in. Chapter 89. After Yen Ran got the basic portrait, she compared it with Director Fong's real appearance. It was really similar. Was it really like what Qiao Zhao guessed? Was Director Fong the one who did it? What was his purpose? Was Director Fong a spy sent by the other aristocratic families in the south? Or did he deliberately do it in the southern aristocratic families area to cause internal strife? Yen Ran didn't think that her grandfather sent Director Fong to do the test, because there was no such person on the list of cultivators in the southern aristocratic families. As a member of the southern aristocratic families, Yen Ran, who had the responsibility of guarding the southern aristocratic families, could not sit still when she smelled the scent of a conspiracy. Yen Ran did things directly. She found Director Fong's phone number on the internet and directly asked to meet him. "Hello, Director Fong. I'm Yen Ran from Nanchuan High School. I have something to talk to you about." "Oh, you're the student representative that day. What's the matter that you need to talk to me about?" Director Fong was very familiar with Yen Ran, but he could only pretend that he just met her. "Director Fong, I'm not looking for you because of the school. It's a private matter." "Well, I'm not very familiar with you. Can't you tell me over the phone if you have something private to talk to me about? I don't know if you've heard of cultivators. If you're interested, I want to talk to you. If you haven't heard of it, then pretend that I didn't call you." Director Fong was silent for a moment. "I'm sorry, Yen Ran. I've never heard of cultivators. You might be mistaken. I'm not very interested. That's all. Goodbye." Director Fong hung up the phone. He didn't know why Yen Ran was looking for him. Did she find something? But he believed that he was very careful and didn't give himself away. Director Fong's refusal made Yen Ran suspicious. Director Fong also began to be vigilant. After work that day, Yen Ran directly blocked Director Fong in the park next to their neighborhood. He was still going to pick up his grandson, but as soon as he entered the park, he was stopped by Yen Ran. "Director Fong, I have something to talk to you about. Please come with me." Director Fong saw that Yen Ran had come directly to his door. It seemed that he couldn't avoid it. The two of them came to a pond in the park. There was no one around. Yen Ran was no longer polite. She was so simple and crude. She directly released the pressure of the higher void and forced Director Fong to kneel down. Director Fong was shocked. As a Zishuan cultivator, he suddenly encountered a strong opponent. He did not hesitate to use the spiritual power in his body to resist. The white qi and the purple qi collided, causing all the water in the pond to splatter into the air. It was obvious that the white qi was many times more powerful than the purple qi. The purple qi was suppressed and scattered on the ground. Director Fong's whole body was pressed to the ground. "Can you tell me now?" "Yen Ran, what do you want?" Director Fong trembled on the ground and asked. "I just want to ask you, did you do what happened to Qiao Zhao?" "Why?" Yen Ran was now very sure that there were not many experts in the Zishuan. The incident with Qiao Zhao must have been done by Director Fong. "There is no reason. I was just asked by someone." "Who asked you to do it?" "I can't tell you." Yen Ran increased the pressure, and Director Fong spat out a mouthful of blood. "Tell me, Yenran, is this how you treat your elders? You are the guardian of the human world. Who gave you the right to punish me without permission? Director Fong's original good impression of Yenran had completely disappeared. He did not expect Yenran to treat him like this. Yenran looked coldly at Director Fong. If you didn't do anything bad, I wouldn't punish you without permission. I don't care who you are. I just want to warn you that in the southern region, please don't do such a heinous thing again. Otherwise, you will have to bear the consequences. After speaking, Yenran left Director Fong with a suave back view. Director Fong was so angry that he lay on the ground and did not come back to his senses for a long time. Xiao Xiao was pulled into a space by a hand. That hand was on his wrist. Xiao Xiao was pulled up and staggered, almost bumping into the person opposite him. Then, the two of them looked at each other, staring at each other with their eyes wide open. The one with the big eyes was, of course, Xiao Xiao. The one with the small eyes was also a young man with a square face. Xiao Xiao felt that he was a square character. Who are you? Who are you? The two people asked each other the same question. Someone from the devil realm? How can you tell? The young man glanced at his wrist with his eyes. Their hands were still connected. The young man was holding his wrist with 4 fingers up and his thumb down, feeling his pulse. Are you a doctor? People who can feel pulses, or are called doctors, Xiao Xiao explained to him. No, I'm neither a doctor nor a doctor. Then who are you? Where is this place? Guess. Xiao Xiao found that this person was quite funny. When he spoke, his eyebrows were raised, as if he was not telling him. Xiao Xiao ignored him and looked at his surroundings. There was nothing here. It was empty like a desert, but the sand in the desert was replaced by fog. What kind of space is this? It's so barren that there isn't even a tree. It's easy to get a tree. The man casually waved his hand and a bud slowly grew from the ground. Then it continued to extend upward. Leaves stretched out from the trunk and soon grew into a small tree in front of Xiao Xiao. Xiao Xiao gave a thumbs up. Awesome, you know magic. This is nothing. Then show me something else. I know a lot of things, but why should I show you? You're the one who pulled me in, so I'm your guest. Don't you have to show me something? The young man seemed to be in awe of etiquette. Hearing that Xiao Xiao's words made sense, he could only scratch his head and say, Okay, wait here. He pointed to the ground again. Soon, a table with a pot of wine and 2 cups appeared. I'll treat you to a drink. Xiao Xiao looked. Interesting. He conjured 2 more stools. Sit, it's a pleasure to have a friend come from afar. How did you know that I'm from the demon realm? Your pulse is full of demonic energy, so you must be from the demon realm. And your status in the demon realm is not low, your bloodline is very pure. Are you from the demon realm's royal family? Damn, I met a Zhuge Kong Ming. His guess was so damn accurate. Xiao Xiao coughed. More or less. What about you? I am the sage of calligraphy, Kong Ming, who has read all the books in the world. Pfft. You know how to read minds? It's really Kong Ming. Okay, is your surname Kong? Or Zhuge? Of course my surname is Kong. Oh, that's good, that's good. You scared me to death. I thought I accidentally met Mr. Zhuge from the 3 kingdoms. That's my descendant. Because he worships me, he took my name. Keep bragging. Why are you here alone? I've been here for tens of thousands of years, slowly growing up from a small seed to what I am now. Xiao Zhao's eyes widened. He didn't find it strange that he grew up here alone. What was strange was that he was only one person. How could he know so much? There's a house of gold in a book, and there's a jade in a book. I'm the spiritual knowledge of these books, so of course I know a lot. I know astronomy, geography, ancient and modern, and I know the 6 kingdoms. If there's anything you don't understand, you can ask me. Kong Ming replied proudly. Then do you often drag people into your space? No, you're the first. It depends on luck. Only you have a discerning eye. These books have been kept at the bottom of the box, and after tens of thousands of years and several kingdoms, they finally have a place to see the light of day. But still, no one came. It's like a pearl covered in dust. Kong Ming said and pretended to drink a mouthful of wine, sighing. Ha, that's a coincidence. I came here today to find a way to make myself stronger. Chow Xiao smiled and pretended to drink a cup of wine. Why do you want to become so strong? Did someone bully you? Yes, there are many people who want to kill me. I see that you're full of righteousness. Although you have a demonic physique, you don't seem to have done anything bad. Chow Xiao gave him a thumbs up. If everyone in the world is as clear as a mirror as you, able to see through the essence at a glance, then I wouldn't have to live so hard. Sigh, these people don't read much. Everything is taught in the book, they just don't read it carefully. Kong Ming was really disappointed with these people who didn't like to read. Chow Xiao remembered that he didn't like to read before, and couldn't help but blush with shame. I saw that you read a lot of books just now. Did you read them all? Of course, I read all of them. Then let me test you. How much do you remember of the books you just read? Sorry, I memorized them all, but I don't understand the meaning. Kong Ming's wine cup fell to the ground. What did you say? You read so many books and memorized them all in just a short while? Yes, my brain is working well now. Then let me test you. Recite Howren's book from beginning to end for me. I just memorized it all, but I don't know how to read it at all. The words are all ancient characters. I can't understand them. Then you're just bragging. Like I said, there's no one in this world who is so powerful. But I can memorize it for you. Hashtag and at hashtag. Kong Ming conjured a pen and paper. Chow Xiao touched it. It was hard and could be used. Kong Ming let him touch it from beginning to end. Kong Ming's initial disbelief turned into surprise, then fear, and finally worship. When Chow Xiao finished memorizing it, he knelt on the ground with a plop. Master, please accept me. I've been looking for a master that I can follow for the rest of my life. Today, I finally found one. Chow Xiao hurriedly pulled him up. What's wrong with you? I've been here for tens of thousands of years. I've been alone for tens of thousands of years. I didn't expect to meet you today by chance. I'm the spiritual consciousness of books. I want to find someone who can control me. I've been looking for it, and today, I finally found it. Chow Xiao was a little confused. How did he get a follower just by memorizing a book? Sigh, think carefully. I only know how to memorize books. Master, you don't know what's so magical about you. I don't think anyone in the 6 realms is more powerful than you. Please don't despise me. I must follow you. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.